Welcome to Breakfast Central. It's Friday, TGIF. It's day 2 in the month of January, the year 2026. And we've kicked off on a very brighter note. If you're just tuning in, we're saying welcome. My name is Joe Hansen. And today being the last day in the fresh first working week of the month in 2020. That's a mouthful, right? Yes, it is. Anyway, don't forget to stream live. Don't forget we're streaming live. Follow us and drop a comment or two. Ben, guys in the building, was good.
I'm good, brother. Good morning, wherever you're watching across the world. This is Breakfast Central. I am Benga Aburowa. In case you just joined the Breakfast Central family, yes, this is where we bring you all the insightful stories, analysis, and happenings across the country with deep expert, subject matter expert analysis on the big stories. And you've made a very good choice by joining us this morning, and we have quite a lot in store for you today. As Joe said, today is the second day of 365 days in 2026, and we're slowly warming into the year. One thing I must say is it's quite unusual. It rained on the 1st of January, and it also rained on the 2nd of January. So I'm wondering what's happening. Is it global warming phenomenon?
I think it's the Hamatan. Yeah. The Hamatan is just trying to come out.
You said that the last time it rained, but it didn't come.
It happens, but there's, funny, there's no Hamatan in Lagos.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing. There's no Hamatan in Lagos. I'm wondering, how come?
Maybe Olive will tell us why.
Well, I don't know, Sha, if she
she's looking very bright like a weather girl this morning.
What's the weather report saying?
Good morning and welcome to the weather report on Breakfast Central. This morning, the weather will go at a 23-degree. Well, let's not see ourselves. Welcome to Breakfast Central. Thank you very much for joining me.
It's a lot. A lot has happened, and this morning, as we start off, as we wrap up the week and go into the weekend. This is the first weekend, by the way.
Yeah, first Friday of the year.
First Friday of the year, first TGIF. The IJGBs are just leaving. Some of them are leaving the country. While you also do have a case of people talking about how inflation has eaten deep or had eaten deep on their celebrations, especially for the dirty December. It didn't really look good, trust me, because everyone used the opportunity to see how they could skyrocket the prices and so on. Then the tax reform, which kicked in yesterday, started yesterday, January 1. That's another conversation. But I think the biggest story so far today, Nigerians were expecting that January 2nd, the tin permit would go into action. But the Nigerian police force has come out to say they're suspending it.
And they will respect the courts.
The law.
Yeah, so that's we need more of that. We need more people to follow the law, and especially being a law enforcement agency, much is needed for them. They are meant to uphold the law, and kudos to the Nigerian police for coming out with that statement. And I hope their men and women in all formations across the Federation did get that memo that enforcement has been stalled and they are to maintain status quo as per what the court decided the last time out. So a good one there.
A good one. All right, let's start off our wake-up conversation. Let's go straight into it. Don't forget, we're streaming live on all socials. You can drop a comment or two and let us know what you think or your thoughts on each of the stories. Now, beginning yesterday, January 1st, 2026, Nigerian banks began enforcing a new policy that places a tax on interest earned. Take note, interest earned from foreign currency accounts, affecting millions of account holders nationwide. The Central Bank of Nigeria and the Federal Inland Revenue Service, who are implementing the policy, say it is designed to broaden government revenue and bring foreign currency earnings in line with existing tax laws. Under the new law, now the rule is, customers with domiciliary and other foreign currency accounts will have 10% of the interest they earn automatically withheld as withholding tax by their banks before the interest is credited. So critics argue the move could discourage investment and further tighten savings, but here's the key clarification many people are indeed missing. Now, the tax is not on people's deposits or balances. It is strictly on interest earned. Take note. For years, the government has already been deducting 10% withholding tax on interest from naira savings account, while foreign currency accounts were exempt. Okay, they were exempted. But what is changing now is simply that both naira and foreign accounts are being treated the same.
Yes,
10%
no
tax
discrimination.
on interest and not on deposits. Now, why is this making a wake-up conversation? Because many people have gone on social media and they've started putting different narratives, theories, how the government is going to kill them and so on and so forth. It's also good that when we speak about these things, we try to balance.
Factually and objectively.
Yeah, try to balance it. But let's see what Nigerians are saying about this very quickly and get their reaction before we come back to the studio. Wala Digest says, this tax, while seemingly negative, could force local investment. With less incentive for foreign currency holding, funds might shift to domestic markets, subtly boosting our economy from within. It's a harsh push, but perhaps a necessary one for local growth. I agree with
I
Wala
really don't
Digest.
think it's harsh. I mean, it's not affecting the currency itself, the balance.
Yeah,
or
it's
the
not,
money,
but
it's
you
on
know,
the
most
interest.
people, I think
It's a
because of the
form of
swift,
investment.
the quick change.
Yeah, okay.
You know, maybe they were not told ahead of time so they could start planning. Anyway, Sean says, no. Okay, all right. I thought it was a song.
Oh, Nana, what's your name?
My name is Olive.
Please, let's be serious, man.
Somebody don't collect 50 naira on every bank transaction, all in the name of stamp duty. If to say the government, they always reason to make sure nobody they pour as much as the channels they.
Wow, I know.
As much as they channel their energy on ways to make money off people, should be for balance.
Another thing I want to add. Okay, but when we finish, I'll remember.
Charges I see on transaction mentions the bank, commission on NIP, VAT charges, electronic money transfer levy, SMS charge, and then we tax, which is when you receive money, W tax. Now this is a ridiculous way to steal from people. I guess this is the year they unbank the banked. And Okwayemi Adiboro says, if interest earned on naira denominated savings account is subject to withholding tax, it is confusing why interest earned on forex savings was previously exempted. This new directive, which seeks to correct this anomaly, is a right step in the right direction. That's
So
what
no discrimination
says.
there.
Yeah. And finally, Wale Akinola says, this is a standard everywhere. What is the noise about? And that's it. So just to clarify this, for those who have a domiciliary account and have been running businesses here in Nigeria, this also affects the social media influencers. The social media influencers who have YouTube channels and all of that, who have decided to make their account a domiciliary one. They've not been having the withholding tax taken from, of course, but now it's going to change. So it means they would have to pay that tax as well. And those who invest
That's
in the
if
country,
they're using Nigerian accounts, I know.
well, that one's safety, you know. And then you also have those who invest in the country, have been investing for years using the domiciliary account. Those who have Airbnbs in Lekki, who, you know, when they get their monies paid, they convert it, they put it in the dollar account rather. All of that will be highly affected.
I mean, if
it's fair.
touching just the interest, I don't think people will be
Feel it drastically.
Yeah, feel it
Besides,
drastically.
no
So
matter
it's
how
not-
you look at it, having investments in dollars will far outweigh we typically outweigh having investments in naira because of it will help you beat exchange rate, no matter how you see it. So
Yeah.
But I'm glad the Nigerian government is doing this. They're very creative about, you know, their searchlights is on, okay, what have we not taxed previously? What do we need to tax? You know, this aggressive revenue drive we're seeing. And I really hope that ordinary Nigerians will feel the impact of this renewed vigor and revenue drive. Because all these monies you are making is not for you to increase the amount of cars in the convoys of officials. You need to see, you know, the way Nigerian officials move, their convoys, you would think everybody is a president. They are presidents of certain countries
Funny
that
thing is
don't
not just
look at the IGP of police. Yeah. If you see his convoy, the Director General of the Nigerian Revenue Services, if you see his retinue of aides and convoy, you would think, no, this is presidential. So is this what we're going to be paying taxes for? Are they going to cut their coats according to their size? Are Nigerians going to
it should not be according to their size, it should be according to their cost at this point. And I completely hear you, but it's not even just Nigerian politicians, it's also even private sector individuals. They've set an example. Every time we hear they're withdrawing policemen, every other day we see a convoy, and that convoy is filled with police officers. So when Nigerians are making a big deal about tax, I think part of the issues is they want to see what the tax is being used for. You can't be taxing people and they're not seeing the feedback.
I'm not doing anything. And anyway, I'll just save my comments for, let me give them a few months, because this is our road, Agidingbi Road, Latif Jakonde.
Yeah, we say that.
There's so many potholes there.
Yeah,
and the Lagos State Public Works have not done anything about it.
And they're taxing people.
Yes,
Anyway,
they're taxing people.
Someone once said you cannot tax out of poverty. It seems that that position has changed. In the next few months, we'll see what the next updates are. I believe we have comments from YouTube.
Yes,
Joe?
let's take a look at this. Okoye Chukwemeka starts today with us. He says, good morning, gentlemen. Merci beaucoup.
Good morning, Okoye Chukwemeka. I hope you got our shout out yesterday.
Yeah, then he says, do economies grow on taxation? I don't get why these guys are so obsessed with taxing everything. And then he says, good morning, Olive. Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you very much for that comment. Please keep the comments coming on YouTube. We will take them during the show.
You know, Olive, the way we're going with this tax drive, I believe some banks too might be very creative in their taxation and, passing the bulk to the people. Very soon we'll start getting a birthday SMS deduction for wishing you your birthday. Happy birthday, Olive. They will now remove 40 naira.
She won't stop giving us that birthday.
Please don't do that. I already know my birthday. Please, let's just respect ourselves. Let's.
Okay, let's now go to some sad news. Suspected ISWAP fighters on December 29, 2025 attacked the Christian village of Timbwa in Mondag, Adamawa State, northeast Nigeria, killing at least 4 residents, burning down about 50 houses and 3 motorcycles, and abducting 5 others, in what locals fear may be an attempt by the group to divert attention from recent security challenges in Sokoto State. Just hours later, tragedy struck again in the central region as another mass killing marked New Year celebrations in Plateau State, where suspected armed militants raided Bom community in Chugui Vwang district of Jos South local government area. The attack reportedly occurred around 11 p.m. on December 31st, 2025, moments before midnight, plunging residents into mourning as they prepare to bid farewell to 2025 and welcome the new year. The twin attacks have reignited fears about the worsening security situation across Nigeria, with citizens and leaders alike condemning the violence and calling on authorities to protect innocent lives and restore peace to affected communities. What a way to end the year and usher in the new year. And if I tell you that I wasn't concerned about this, I'll be a liar, because we oftentimes see that these attacks that usually happen on Christmas Day or New Year's Day, often targeted. So there were the concerns that this will happen. Again, re-emphasizing our insecurity challenges and the fact that we have a long way to go. There's unfortunately a level of desensitization that has accompanied this, because life just goes as normal. I hope that the newspaper front pages today or yesterday had a huge number of these, because what happens is they pick up another story and it's just giving a tiny corner on the front page of the newspaper.
We reviewed the papers yesterday and it was missing.
So we've become desensitized to it. It feels like we've accepted insecurity as our new normal, and that's no way for any citizen
to live. Very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
I mean, it's sad, but this has reignited a statement coming from the United States all over again. If you recall, just a few weeks ago, the United States took this entire situation about Christian genocide very seriously, even though we know that that's not really the story. The story is not just for Christians, it's for everyone who has felt the brunt that's come from insecurity. But then again, if we go to X right now, you would find out that the rep from the United States is also talking, and he highlighted in his tweet, he said, Riley M. Moore says, if there were any remaining doubts that Christians in Nigeria are being targeted for their faith in Jesus Christ, this should end that debate. This isn't about land usage, climate change, or any other argument the left wants to make. This is persecution of our brothers and sisters for their faith in Christ, plain and simple. ISIS is telling Christians they have an opportunity to spare their blood if they convert. Our brothers and sisters will not bend the knee to anyone but our Lord and Savior, though. Thankfully, the President of the United States is continuing to work in cooperation with the Nigerian government to stop these Islamic radicals and defend our brothers and sisters in Christ. That's what he said. The story that also came out from the Adamawa incident was that they said before the killing had started, they had told the people there that they should convert. That if they convert, they will be spared. But if they don't convert, they will be killed. I'm also not just seeing this as a radical move, especially not from a terrorist angle. I'm also seeing this as something that is strategically planned. Because obviously you want to continue to remember that whether you like it or not, you'd always have actors, non-state actors, who would want to push a narrative that would eventually affect a current government.
Or to drive a certain
agenda. Exactly. And we did see this during the Jonathan's time, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the former president of Nigeria, where there was an agenda that was driven, which was about women, kidnap schoolgirls, make it hard for him, and so on and so forth. And now we're seeing something different. But where we stand is that we're expecting that when reps in America are making comments, the president of America is saying as a commander-in-chief, we as Nigerians, we know that
we're our own government officials.
Thank you. Yeah. While we're looking forward to see the fight come to an end, we're also expecting that our own people will also come out
and own the narrative
and speak.
You know,
that's it. Because
these things are happening in your territory.
We're not seeing them,
and Nigerians elected you as their representatives. You need to speak for them. You need to show concern. You need to do something about the situation. And it seems they're so aloof, or I don't know if it stems from
silence,
arrogance, or just let's bury our heads on the sand and wait for this to pass. I really don't know, but it's unfortunate.
There's a silence. And I mean, just to wrap things up before we go to what Nigerians are saying, I'm also thinking are we so used to press releases now, as members of the press, as gentlemen of the press? Are we so used to press releases now that we wait on these press releases to drop in the WhatsApp group and then authenticated through the X account and platform, and then we'll say, okay, they've dropped a press release, or we take it, we use it to form the headlines, form the stories, and then that's it? Or can
that is devoid of emotion and you know, the visuals, and it's also arrogant. That's the arrogance I'm talking about. They don't care. I mean, if you don't address Nigerians, they should take it the way it is. Or maybe it's because of the frequency of attacks. Because if they continue to come out every day for press conferences, they would look like undertakers.
Yeah, right, that's one. But then again, I think the one time that a press release, beyond a press release, a visual communication was expected was the whole Donald Trump saga, because then we had become an international issue. It had become one that had garnered international attention. Suddenly the US is speaking, Israel is speaking, different nations are starting to speak about it. At that very point, Nigerians were unsure, scared, uncertain of what the war against insecurity will look like. That would have been a great position for the presidency to address the nation, to assure its citizens that they are really doing everything that they can. And not just say that they're doing everything they can, tell us and show us, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this, these are the results we've received, as opposed to us getting assurance from the international community. But then again, let's see what Nigerians are saying about this on X. Our first tweet, ISWAP released an image of one of the Christian villages in Adamawa State burning, alongside a statement saying that all Christians in Nigeria are legitimate targets and they have an opportunity to spare their blood by converting to Islam or paying the jizya tax to ISWAP. This is a tweet from Brandt. The next tweet, ISWAP attacked the third Christian village in Adamawa State in the span of a few days, seemingly retaliation to the US airstrikes against IS Sahel in Sokoto State. This time, no Christians were killed, but the village of Higa was set ablaze yesterday with over 50 houses burnt. This is a tragic reminder that terrorism thrives on fear, optics, and distraction. Whether or not ISWAP is trying to divert attention, the reality is clear. Innocent civilians, again, Christians, are paying the price. These attacks are about spreading terror, asserting relevance, and exploiting weak security gaps. The focus shouldn't be speculation alone, but urgent protection of vulnerable communities and decisive action against terror networks everywhere, not selectively, Chisholm Anthony says. And in our next tweets, all right, okay, Oladimeji Olalekan says that they should confirm they are truly being hit in Sokoto, and using that should confirm that they are truly being hit in Sokoto, and using that to create a diversion. according to Olamiliko. From what I see, the Christian fundamentalists with connections to U.S. government and the Biafrans are blaming the Sultan of Sokoto for financing everything and want Sokoto destroyed. It's a stupid conspiracy theory, but it's worked. Why they want to attack Sokoto is another matter. This is another tweet. Islam has declared war on Christians. If the Crusaders are to gather, it wouldn't be funny.
I don't recall when Islam declared war on Christians.
I don't
you shouldn't use the behavior of certain people to paint the whole religion or a group of people with the same brush
and make
generalizing statements.
People are talking, you know, on this show over the week, since last, imagine we're saying last year, wow. I mean, last year, we had people, we're calling on people to speak out. If you believe it's not a religious thing, that there are few bad eggs or people within that same circle. And they've been doing that in the past week, which is quite commendable in the sense that, I mean, see, Nigeria, we keep saying this, we are a beautiful people. We are accommodating, we're loving, we're kind. We are very, very, we're just people that you want to be with. People travel from far and wide, visit Nigeria, and they talk about how loving the place is. Until these politicians decided to play the trump card by looking into what divides us and used it as a stronghold. Up until now, we have not recovered.
Yeah.
We just want to live. We just want to be able to practice, you know, everybody practicing their religion, living, coexisting happily together, and not have to look over our shoulders. You know, the government owes us that. That's the very least that the government owes us. But let's now move to our next story. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has directed his lawyers to withdraw all defamation suits he filed against Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and others, bringing a calm close to months of political tension. He made the announcement on Thursday while speaking at the Sacred Heart Parish during the New Year Mass in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, saying he was moved by the priest's sermon to choose peace and reconciliation over prolonged legal battles. The dispute had escalated last year with sharp public exchanges and allegations that quickly snowballed into court actions and heated national conversations. Akpabio described the move as an opportunity to refocus on legislative responsibilities rather than personal feuds, a gesture that has drawn praise from supporters and sparked discussion across the political space. Let's listen to what he said.
Today, I listened to the homily, and I just thought that the parish prepared for me, because as the priest was speaking, he wasn't the one speaking. It was the Holy Spirit that was speaking through him. And he said, leave behind all things that happened in 2025 so that they don't drag you backwards. Hatred, avarice, feeling of being defamed, feeling of character assassination, being lied upon. Everything must end here in this church today. And you will move from here into the realm of the Spirit and face Nigeria and what God sent you to do. I want to assure the priest that I have heard. And because of what you said here, I had almost 9 cases in court against some individuals, against people who defamed me, who lied against me, who slandered my name, and all. But listening to the priest, I suddenly realized he was talking to me. So I hereby direct my solicitors to withdraw all lawsuits against me.
There you have it.
Wow.
Let there be peace in our hearts, peace in our homes, and peace in the nations of the world.
Is that as a song? Then?
Yes, and this is what you call New Year, New Me.
Yeah.
Starting on a clean slate, tabula rasa.
Tabula rasa. Thank you, my learned colleague.
Wow.
But let's head to X and see what Nigerians are saying about this. Nigerians, of course, have reacted beyond the people clapping in church. Okafon Nadozie says, when the priest warned against corruption in several of his sermons, It never occurred to you that he was talking to you.
Do you want him to change his mind and sue you for defamation? Do you want to be the first scapegoat in 2026?
What an angle to go from.
One possible lesson is that forgiveness and reconciliation can be powerful tools, even in the face of adversity. Senator Akpabio's decision to withdraw the suit shows that choosing forgiveness over litigation can lead to healing and potentially repair relationships. Selah. The next tweet, he was never going to win any of the lawsuits. It's one thing to discontinue the suit against Natasha. It is another thing for Natasha to discontinue hers against him. Nonso Ngonadi says, because they already know that by 2027 she will become an activist like Dino and our former education minister, or should I say minister for education, who performed willfully under OBG. It's not our mama people are talking about, is it? DJ Owoleke says somebody was afraid of the unfolding evidence that might nail the coffin. What a shame.
You know, what I can deduce from this is you cannot please human beings. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Another observation I want to make is I believe the church, we're all equal before God. And I really don't understand why you have the lectern, the podium, with the seal of the Senate President in a church. I mean, this is a church. It's not. It's not a public space. You're not giving a speech in public, and it's not a Senate affair. You're a private individual. You've gone to church to practice your faith. So I don't understand why people know you. You don't need to put a lectern and write seal of the President of the Senate.
Let's put
These
that
are some of the
while you're
things
talking about it, so
we need to do away with in 2026.
I like my church. We don't have time for you. Everybody is a regular person treated with that. Yes, we honor people as everyone should be honored, but we need to take away these things where we're giving them extraordinary reverence. You know, politicians are politicians. They're meant to serve us. We put them there to serve us.
So by seeing him without that lectern, you don't know he's a Senate president. Why?
You know, you can be confused
necessary?
because he's wearing glasses. So the glasses may make you think that
it's just some aides
Wesley
that
Snipes.
His aides and assistants that have been to
forward.
You know, there was an article written as well about the desecration of the pulpit, and it mentioned some of the issues that has led to what we have in our political space today. And many have said that you cannot but help to point your fingers at the church, because the church is starting to, where I'm going to is, issues are always squashed on the pulpit. Political issues. Why? Remember the Fubara case? Fubara even went to the church just yesterday, and that's where he made mention of, he said something strong yesterday, while Wike had made a statement 2 days ago. Also 48 hours. He was there yesterday, and he made a very strong statement.
So those sort of, I think the Senate President's statements was in line with the sermon on forgiveness.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for him to call for his solicitors to withdraw lawsuits. But these other politicians that go there to attack opponents, and that's not right. You shouldn't be doing that in church.
He's withdrawn his own.
So that means Natasha is free. What it means now is Natasha is free.
No, Natasha has her own cases against him.
No, he has withdrawn. He said he has withdrawn cases.
But Natasha has not yet withdrawn her own. She hasn't withdrawn her own.
Highlighted in one of the tweets.
So we will wait to see if Natasha will return the olive branch or will continue in the fight. I don't see how.
No, I think she would also forgive.
I don't see how.
I see that. I think what we're going to look at is a fresh Senate. Fresh from the yard, like fresh bread.
You know what? Our audience was streaming live on YouTube. Go in the chat box and let us know. Do you think that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan will reciprocate the olive branch and withdraw her own case?
You know, his wife, the Senate President's wife, did.
I think this covers all of them.
Okay, as the head of the family,
it covers all of them.
So as the head of the family has spoken, everybody.
But that's really romantic. Everybody needs a partner that will fight for their husband. Or vice versa, just the way Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's husband was supportive. The Senate President's wife too was very supportive. And she went a step further by suing.
I promise you that today's show is not about relationship and supportive partners. Let's share with you what the headlines are this morning on Breakfast Central. This morning we'll be analyzing economic outlook as CBN projects 4.49% gains in 2026. ADC faction rejects Peter Obi disowns Enugu registration. That's a faction. Don't mind them. We are collapsing all structures for 2027 victory. Wike vows. Kanem-Borno Heritage Celebration fosters peace among nations in Maiduguri. And we review the newspaper front pages this morning on Breakfast Central with our analysts as well as with you when we open the phone lines. Join us. The Central Bank of Nigeria has just released its 2026 macroeconomic outlook, and the headlines are cautiously optimistic. The country's apex bank is projecting a 4.49% GDP growth for 2026, a significant uptick from the estimated 3.89% in 2025. Inflation is expected to ease to 12.94%, and the foreign exchange market is forecast to remain stable.
The report attributes this to a mix of monetary tightening, fiscal reforms, banking sector recapitalization, and foreign exchange market liberalization over the past 3 years. But what does this mean for everyday Nigerians still grappling with high food prices, fuel cost, and a volatile naira? Joining us this morning is economist and principal partner at Woodridge and Scott Consulting, Mr. Segun Shokpita. A very good morning, and thanks for joining us on Breakfast Central. And Happy New Year to you. Yes. Now, the CBN is projecting a very optimistic 4.49% GDP growth prediction for 2026. And they've given several reasons for this. How do you see this? Do you think it's achievable, or they've been overly optimistic?
I mean, given that we're coming from estimate for 2025, would suggest we'll finish at about 3.8, 3.9. 4.4, 4.5 is conservative enough. When it comes to data, when it comes to, using the tools of monetary policy management, economic management, they're good. They do their jobs thoroughly. So I have faith in the numbers that they put out. From the point of view of macroeconomic management, especially from the neoliberal economic philosophy standpoint, you probably will see those things. Of course, it's a different question. Even if we achieve those things, will they be enough? Is that what we need to be looking for? Is that where we should be pushing? Different conversation, but the projections are conservative and realistic enough.
And it's good news.
I don't know about that, to be honest.
I mean, any sort of growth is considered good news.
I don't know about that, and I say that because typically Nigeria's growth over the last maybe 15, 20 years has not been inclusive growth. There's something they call inclusive growth in economic, management, where you are seeing the growth in the numbers and the indicators are looking good.
And everyone is carried along.
And it's affecting the vulcanizer, and the pepper seller. The kind of growth, even when we're reporting 5%, 5.5%, GDP growth rates under President Jonathan at a point, and President Obasanjo before him, the life of the average Nigerian was still miserable to a very large extent. So whether this will be good news, I strongly doubt it. I think before we can say that these numbers will mean good news to the average Nigerian, you have to be talking double-digit growth rates. You have to, given where we're coming from, given our population. You've got to be saying, if we say we're growing at maybe 8%, we're starting. We have to be talking of 10, 12% annual GDP growth rate before we can say yes.
Yeah, but the 4.5, the 3 point something, why isn't there even a trickle down to the vulcanizing, those in the lower rung of society?
So the reason for that is two things. One is that there is a bit of a disconnect as a result of corruption between government spending and the impact on the people. Somehow the money gets missing in between. the way government spending is supposed to work is you're spending on infrastructure, you're spending on recurrent expenditure, especially the infrastructure spend should result in the employment of people. It's human beings that will do a lot of that work, you know. So if the work gets done, then when government spends money, they will employ contractors, you know, they will employ suppliers and all of that, and people will feel it. And then those people have family members, they would also go spend, so there's a multiplier effect on the economy. So that, you know, typically doesn't quite happen. So that disconnect happens. And then the second thing, and this is very critical, and that's why for me, what we've been doing, you know, in this country over the last 10, 15, maybe for as long as we've existed, really, has not been what we're supposed to be trying to do. There is no intentionality about our economic management strategy. If you look at the structure of our economy, there is a disconnect. What are the major contributors to the economic development in Nigeria? It's agriculture, it's industry, it's services. In fact, when you want to consider GDP contribution anywhere in the world, those are the three sectors you look at. Now, if you look at sectoral contribution, for a country like Nigeria, that is a middle income, in fact, some will classify us as low income, as a low income country. We have jumped to the services, reliance on services as a major GDP contributor, skipping industry, the industrial sector.
Productivity.
Right.
Yeah. So we've moved from agriculture, and agriculture is still contributing 23% as we speak today. And then we've skipped the industrial sector, and the services sector is contributing about 60% of GDP. Now, the services sector cannot employ the number of people that the industrial sector can employ.
And when you say
the amount of
industrial,
productivity,
manufacturing,
you know, construction, you know, and all of those other real activities in the economy. So we have to find a way to dial back and focus on that sector and drive productivity there. Otherwise, you would always have this lack of connect between GDP numbers and the impact on the ordinary Nigerian.
Okay, let's also talk about inflation. I mean, one of the reasons that they've given is inflation, right? We've seen slowing down of inflation rate in the past 8 months up until November. What impact will these new tax laws have on inflation in the year 2026?
I think there will be two types of impact. There is the artificial impact that will be temporary, you know, which is there's a lot of myths and misconceptions around the entire policy that I don't think the government is doing enough of a job to address. Yes, you know, there's a lot of conversation, but the conversation is not being led by the government. They're being reactive, right? So a lot of people believe that their accounts are going to be debited, starting from yesterday, right? And what you hear people say is, I have to increase my prices because government is going to tax me. You know, so they are going to have that artificial impact on, people
I started receiving messages from some of my vendors
that type of thing.
saying that prices will increase.
Yeah, so prices will probably shoot up slightly. You're going to see a bit of a bump, you know, in inflation numbers in the first 2-3 months until people understand that actually there hasn't been any change.
But I think we also need to push back. Don't you think so? Because
you have to push back.
Because what goes up, we know, here in Nigeria doesn't come down. Let's take a look at the fuel price.
Yeah.
I mean, I must say this. I went to the filling station. That was yesterday. Usually, you'd expect that to fill your tank up, you'd be looking at maybe 60, 65,000, 70,000. And it was lesser.
Yeah.
Okay? And as usual, because of the death of the band ABC, for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's dead. It's gone. I mean, power has been bad.
Absolutely
completely bad. And the minister is nowhere to be found. I had to put that out there. I mean, and I took my 25 liters and I said, fill it up for me. Before, it would be 25,000 or thereabout.
Yeah.
And the attendant said, no, that's too much. I said, how much? She said, 1820. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, that's...
Now, guess what? Yeah, it's come down.
Yeah.
Because fuel price, I mean, thanks to Dangote, MRS and all that, is now 739 naira in some places 760 something, while others with the coconut head are still living it at, no disrespect.
No, you're right.
No disrespect. Are still living it at over 800, 7, they're still stubborn. My point is, now that the fuel price has come down, I expect that it will trickle down to transportation and food. So the restaurants will actually, you know, start bringing down their prices. But we don't see this happen.
if there was an increase, they would.
Yeah,
It goes
would have to.
immediately.
No, that's a natural phenomenon. I think it's important to also address that because I hear that a lot. For a business person, you have to be cautious in bringing your prices down, and you have to be quick in taking them up. If your costs go up, you must react and take your prices up.
Before you even replace them.
Yes, because you have to think about the replacement costs for the things you are currently selling, right? So if you sell low, you will, in a way, make a loss on those things that you are selling low, even though you are selling them higher, significantly higher than their, the purchase cost. Now, if your costs are coming down, you have to be a bit slow and cautious because you've got to be sure that whatever is bringing those costs down is going to be sustainable. So if you adjust lower too quickly, then what will happen is that you might get yourself caught out if prices reverse. And this PMS cost is a very, very prime example. Anything can happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dangote can decide, sorry, crude oil prices have gone up, and we're back at 900 in a flash. We've seen it happen
the
several
international
times.
market
So,
too.
yeah, because the international market also affects this thing. So yeah, but the second part of the question that you asked about
Inflation
the inflation
and
and tax is that to a very large extent we shouldn't see too much of an impact because in truth, if you really look at, if you disaggregate the entire thing, actually taxes should reduce for the taxpayer, whilst revenues should go up for the government. Because what they've done is they've reduced, some rates, they've increased some allowances, but they're bringing more people into the net. So the real objective of this policy is to capture more people into the tax net, like the president promised.
Expand the tax net.
Expand the tax net, that's famous, thing. And for me, it's absolutely brilliant. So what we are doing is that we're trying to, the allowance, the threshold for tax payment is very high. It's minimum wage for a salary earner, and it's, get this, 100 million naira turnover per annum if you're a business person. 100 million. Drop that to if you operate 7 days a week. Divide that by 365. It's about 240,000 naira sales per day. 240,000 naira in sales every day. Very few people, the majority of business operators in this country will never even get there. They're selling 20,000, 30,000 naira in sales every day. But the tax policy will compel you through the NIN and the tax ID to be captured in the database. So if you cross that threshold, the tax man does not have to look for you. You're already captured, and then you can start paying your taxes. So I think it's I've got some misgivings here and there, but
I want to sit a little bit on tax. You've said that there will be an artificial inflation, which we're already starting to see. Because I was saying to you
Tell those your vendors, you're a journalist, and they need to stop that.
Yes, some vendors have already sent messages saying prices are increasing from 1st of January. So, and you say the reason that this is happening, I quite agree with you, is that there are some misconceptions. So I want to use this opportunity to have you clarify some of these misconceptions and break it down to people. And then there's the other angle of, I hear people who say, so my old mother at home who isn't working but is collecting money from all her children will still be paying tax inside the money that she's collecting from her children. So if you can use this opportunity to help, with the clarification.
The biggest misconception that has to be addressed, it's not even an elephant in the room. The elephant is standing in the middle of the highway. We cannot see it. It's that nobody can debit your account for tax. Nobody is going to see transactions flowing into your account and say, this man is making money. And then they'll just hit your account directly and deduct their own from it. That's the way people are thinking about this, and that is crazy. Your account, your bank cannot touch your money without your mandate, unless there is a court order. Of course, there is a controversy around Section 61 of the Tax Administration Act that authorizes the taxman to take your money without a court order, but that is one in maybe 1,000, in fact, maybe one in 1 million cases where that will happen. And even that, like Mr. Wedele explained, the process that will lead up to that event is so long, it's not going to affect any ordinary Nigerian. You are not the target of that. So, first of all, nobody can take money from your account. Second of all, you are not paying more taxes. If anything, a lot more people will pay less or not at all.
How?
Who may have been paying. So if you work in a company where they actually do tax remittances right now, and you're earning 70,000 naira per month, right? Gross. Under this new tax law, your company will not debit your account anymore for any tax. You get your gross net of maybe your pension contribution if they do that and all of that. So you actually get a little more money in your pocket. If you're a business person that have been doing self-assessment before now, and you've been paying taxes, right? But your sales volumes, like we said, falls below the threshold, you are no longer required to pay. So more people, and then even for people that are paying, the tax band, which actually is one of the problems that I have with this law, it's that the tax band is too narrow. So you have 0, then you've got 15%, you've got 18%, and the maximum is 25%. So what we've done is that we're giving the wealthy, high net worth individuals a free pass. They are not paying enough. They will not be contributing enough. And I thought that the president would use this opportunity.
And those are the 25% you're talking about?
The highest rate you will pay.
Typically?
I mean, everywhere else in the world, if you are very, very wealthy, you pay anything from 35. In some countries, like, in the Scandinavian countries where tax is really crazy, 40%.
Yeah, 40.
40% of your income you pay to the taxman.
But you know that the quality of life there is completely different from the quality of life.
This is for
that's the point.
High net worth individuals.
And it's for just the high net worth, the people that are really
God has
wealthy.
already blessed them now.
Really wealthy. So the idea behind that, is to get the people that are wealthy. Look, if you take 40% of $1 billion, I mean, that's 400 million. The man still has $600 million. So it's still very okay, as against if you take 40% of 1 million. What you can do with the remainder of the money is...
Okay, so if you say the taxman cannot collect your money and that there's a potential that you'd even have more money in your bank, then how is the tax being then processed? Because we need to break this down.
Yes, very important. So the processing part is also, part of the conversation that I think the government is not doing enough enlightenment about. Now, and again, we must remember that a lot of these things are not new. Right now in Nigeria, personal income tax and company income tax for small businesses, for registered business names, are paid to the state government. And in the state government, that's the way it's still going to remain, even under this tax law. At the state level, it's self-assessment. Lagos state government, it's self-assessment you do. You fill the forms, you declare your income, you determine how much your tax is supposed to be, and then you go to the tax office and make your payment. Most people can't do it by themselves, so they get somebody, a consultant or whatever. Usually people in the tax office will do that for you. That's not changing. So what's going to happen is that there's a platform where you get your tax ID, which becomes your unique identification number to
or in this case, your NIN.
NIN. So what they're now trying to do is number, which I think again is very good. So reduce the burden of data gathering and all that on the citizen. So you use your NIN, and that becomes your tax ID, and that ties all of your transactions together. You can do your self-assessment. The kicker here is that because of the new platform that they are implementing, they can see what you are claiming. They have visibility into all your accounts. Which is where people get the fear of they will debit my account comes from. Because Mr. Udele has said it. If you lie, if you do this, this comedy that we've been doing where you're saying gifts, everything is now gifts, even if you are paying for a service. Or
somebody said, please, when you send money, put sugar daddy. Sugar daddy.
Put sugar daddy.
Also, narration that said, please, this is our job money.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. We see Nigerians are funny like that, and it's one of the beautiful things about us. So now, what that is that because of the platform they have, they will see these transactions and they can estimate, how much you are earning as income. So they know what they're expecting to get from you when you do your self-assessment. And if it's significantly lower, then they come after you. They will send you, their own valuation of what you should pay, and then you can start the process of disputing it and all of that. So to talk about the platform, there's a technology platform that they are implementing, which I expect is already fully functional.
Tax ID.fr.
Yes, exactly. But for the ordinary citizen, there isn't much of a change other than that. Understand that you'll be doing self-assessment now, as you are supposed to have been doing before, But now, because there's a law that is going to be strictly enforced, you better take it seriously, look for a tax consultant around you, and let them advise you on how to do your self-assessment and pay.
The tax guys are going to be smiling to the bank right now because consultancy has
business
gone up.
is good.
I've never seen any tax
that was the
man.
course
I don't know
I hated
about
the most.
Mr. I'm sure almost everybody in the economic space now are not in their ties. They're so happy.
Ironically, I'm also a
phone lines. I
have a tax consulting practice as part of my.
I know. I know, so I'm asking you all the questions about tax.
Yes.
And I hated, of all the courses I read in law school, that was the only one I refused to read in bar finals. I hated doing the math of tax.
But you had to sit for it.
Well, I could choose to. I chose not to read that topic, and I read all the others, and I was able to answer questions from the others. Exactly. So I think the final thing I wanted to ask you as we move on from tax to other conversations is about the narrations, because now you've mentioned gifts. People have been saying, oh, make sure you put description. Why is that important?
So first of all, it's two things. It's the description for your transactions, one, and records of those transactions, two. So if the description for the transaction is the only kind of record you can keep, that's okay. But if you can keep your receipts, it's better, so you can prove what you're saying. The reason it's important is because, like I just said, there's a technology platform that will crawl. It's like a web crawler, the way this microcredit companies use, where these loan apps, you know how they do it?
Yeah.
In 10 minutes, tops in some cases, you have your loan. From when you apply to, they hit your account in 10 minutes. It's not random. They are crawling all your entire digital footprint to determine whether you are creditworthy or not. So the government will have something similar to check all your transactions across all your bank accounts. So it's important that you help that process, help yourself by helping that process to put descriptions that fit what you are doing, so that they can know. For example, if you are a carpenter and you receive 100, let's say 1 million naira to do, maybe a TV console or something, the person that is sending you the money should put it there.
Payment for TV console for Dr. Ajala.
So that the government doesn't think that is income. Because when you get that 1 million, you yourself will now go out and buy wood. You buy, the materials you're going to use.
And the person selling it will put tax there for you to buy.
And when the person forgets to put a description?
At the end of the day, if descriptions are not there, it means that the government will have to kind of guess, try to figure out what the purpose of the money is on your behalf. And you don't want that to happen, because you know where they will lean. They will just assume it's income, and they will determine your tax assessment based on that, instead of on your actual profit from that transaction. So the descriptions are important. And very quickly to address the other point that you made, Graham, you are sending money to your mom from different sources. Just make sure you put gift there. I think that's the most important thing. But eventually, when you are doing your tax assessment and they are trying to confirm if it gets to that, you can prove that it was a gift and it was tax.
Sometimes we rise by lifting others. Sending money to people.
Anyway, one of the portals, just to make it clear to our viewers, you could check taxid.firs.gov.ng. It's a mouthful. I think they should try as much as possible to simplify the website.
Tax.ng or
just like Google State.
firs.gov.ng. Or better still, dial *829#. I just did that, and it tells me, welcome to the Federal Inland Revenue Service. This service will cost you 100 naira. This is why I have a problem. And they say if I want to proceed, I should press 1. If not, I don't want to proceed. 100 naira. So I'm going to be charged before I even gain access.
The reason for that is that it's USSD.
Yes.
And that comes at a cost.
100 naira is too much now.
Yeah, it can be lesser.
If you look at the number, how many are we in Nigeria?
But you do understand that 100 naira is going to the telecoms company, going to NCC, and then of course I assume FIRS will take it.
FIRS.
So they can make it less. It's very important to make it as
affordable
as possible, so that people can adopt.
Because this is something we're trying to introduce.
And the website too, like Joe pointed out, it's too long. It's just like Ogun State emergency numbers, 11 digits. Who's going to remember that?
11?
Yes.
Defeats the purpose. In Lagos, I can just easily say 112 or 767 and we're good to go.
Anyway, thank you so much for breaking things down for us. Just in case you do not know, Mr. Akpoti-Uduaghan is also a consultant. So let's blow the trumpet here.
I think Mr. Oyedele owes you a thank you call.
Because you have done a thorough job.
Great job for him.
Well, I mean, we've been doing that. It's important. You see, I believe that a country that will progress must pay tax. If you don't pay tax, you know,
we also need to see the work of the tax.
So what I've been saying everywhere that I've had this conversation is, you will pay this tax whether you like it or not. So now you have to demand accountability so that the money is not stolen. Because if you don't ask the hard questions on social media, wherever, don't say, why do we do it? And people are always so lazy, you know, we like shortcuts. Go on Facebook, go on Twitter, go on Instagram, and keep asking questions.
Shortcuts or Messiah.
Or Messiah, exactly. Exactly.
Online, ajo money, right? Ajo money, don't touch it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you for
Shodezo.
joining us today. All right, we're going to have a very quick break. And when we come back, we have our next conversation. So please stay with us as we share with you what's coming up next.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Now, just days after Peter Obi's high-profile defection to the African Democratic Congress, a faction of the ADC led by Nafiu Bala Gombe has come out swinging, rejecting Obi's registration and calling it a violation of the party's constitution.
The faction insists that Obi's registration at the Enugu zonal office is invalid, citing a breach of the party's ward-level registration policy. This move threatens to derail what many see as a strategic coalition-building effort out of the 2027 general elections. But not to worry, we do have our guest who joins us here. He's the chairman of the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Mr. George Ashiru joins us live, and thank you so much for being here. Here we go again. Another one right in front. Another one not right in front of us. We're journalists, but right in front of you. Another political party. It started with the PDP, went to the SDP, the former beautiful bride, and then moved to any other political party that would raise its neck up to say, hey, we are coming right as opposition. What would you make of this one? Invalid? Is it really invalid?
My brother, it's too late for those who are trying to inject their toxicity into ADC. It's too late. We crossed our T's and I's and the dots and whatever it is as a party of law and order long before the coalition was established. So all of this is the usual sabberackling, sponsored, supported by those who probably thought because we did it successfully in these other parties, we could do it in ADC. So you cannot have people call themselves faction that are not recognized by anybody. Nobody has joined them. There's no coalition around them. They're not recognized by INEC. We are state chairmen, duly elected. None of us is part of what they're doing or even are aware of what they're doing. And what happened in Enugu was Peter Obi declaring for ADC. Very likely had already concluded his registration process at the appropriate time. These are old politicians, they know the rules. So the fact that you do a public declaration that you're supporting a particular party is not an indication that you have not gone through the entire appropriate constitutional process in order to be a member of the party, which all the other people who are the leaders of the coalition have already done. So to me, it's a non-news, it's a non-issue. It's a group of people, they are our former colleagues. They feel the need to constantly be in the media, but they cannot even conduct congresses. They don't have the power to do so. Which NEC meeting approved the leadership of this organization, these people that call themselves factions, who are the recognized leaders of the party that accepted that they are factions. So this is not a faction. This is just a group. You can't just let 8 people go on the media and talk, and then the whole world thinks this is a faction. And you want to compare that to an organization that's become a behemoth in recent times? No. It's not news as far as we're concerned, but it's necessary for us to counter it nonetheless.
All right.
Nafiu Gombe's, you don't agree that it is a faction, and that always happens in political parties. Nobody ever admits the other faction. We on the outside, we see it as separate factions, and of course this rose as a result of internal leadership conflicts. Are there any possibilities of reconciliation in this new year? It's a new year, we're open to new things. Is there any possibility of reconciliation with the Nafiu Gombe-led faction of the ADC?
So now let us define what a faction is. Let's be careful that everyone who writes a piece of paper and who goes on television is a faction. A faction has to have some level of legitimacy. It has to have constitutional backing. It has to have a basis in law for saying that, we do have some rights. But none of this has been established with this institution. Everything they've ever tried to do has been rejected by the Constitution, by the courts. So that is why we don't even see that. See, I'm a very practical and objective person, and I will never come in media and just politicize things that are legal. So that is the reason I have to say this so that the public are aware. There is no institution that exists outside of the known African Democratic Congress led by Senator David Mark that's recognized by any ADC member. Any ADC member in all the states. We are state chairman. We don't have members in our states that are factions of that faction. So how is it a faction when in 36 states they don't have members? So it is not a faction. And let us deal with this issue. If this faction had existed, it would have existed before the coalition. So clearly it's just, like I say, they are citizens of Nigeria, they are former members of the party, they're people who are happy for Nigeria to progress, but they disagree with the way that it was done. But the reconciliation is possible when you are reaching out to the party to say, how can we fix it? It doesn't come by trying to disrupt what the majority, and I'm not talking about majority in terms of 51%. We're talking about 99.99%. Want for Nigeria. This is for Nigeria. It's a coalition to help Nigeria. So just trying to fight it for the sake of fighting it with having a vision of a positive, credible alternative in itself is an affront on the desires of Nigerians for a change. We want a change. It's as simple as that. And everybody has come together to make it happen. Look at how long it took even for Peter Obi to finally make up his mind to come. He must have looked at all of these issues. He must have seen whatever everybody's doing or saying. And these are people who have come from different political parties, been involved in governance, and they know how to make critical decisions. And that's why we're where we are. We are stronger now as a true political party, and indeed the most credible opposition and likely to take power in 2027.
Now, Mr. Ashiru, now that Mr. Peter Obi has joined your fold, you have quite a number of political gladiators who feel they have a right to seek for the highest office in the land. What will the selection process be like, and how can you make, because oftentimes we see that money plays an important part in the selection of the flag bearers of political parties. How can you minimize the impact of money and also ensure that whoever emerges the flag bearer of the ADC does follow your ethos and the manifesto of your political party, and it's not just a personal thing?
So the critical reference that I make all the time when I am speaking about our party is that we're a stickler for the Constitution. We've had so many ideas and thoughts and suggestions that have come, even in the coalition. And once it does not align with the Constitution, we simply jettison it and say, look, we're not going to be able to defend this if someone takes us to court. We're not going to be able to defend this if someone challenges it legally. So we always
sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Ashiru. When you say Constitution, do you mean the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the ADC's party constitution?
It is ADC's party's constitution, because when you make reference to how we're going to select our leaders, our constitution is a reference point. So if we are going to have properly elected individuals, as long as the guidelines and the rules and regulations that are set in accordance with the constitution of ADC, we will come out with a credible process. And that is what we are interested in doing. And that's what we are affirming that we're going to do and we're convicted to do. And this is very important for us because we know what we are facing. We know the institution that is against us. We know the political party that is in power that would do anything to disrupt what we are doing in the coalition. So we are ensuring that we don't provide any kind of loophole. Sun Tzu, who is an ancient Chinese general, says that before you go into any kind of war, you will win the war when you know yourself 50% and you know your adversary 50%, 100%. So critically, we understand what has happened to the other political parties. We're not going to let it happen to us. And that is a reference point again, like I said, that we're not going to repeat the mistakes of the other political juggernauts and how they've been reduced to having to fight for survival. We're not going to make that mistake. We're going to ensure that impunity does not stand. And as much as in mobilization of cause, and therefore people are going to spend money mobilizing their supporters, that in itself is not a violation of the principle that money is spent in order to campaign. In America, when Obama was elected, he raised $6 billion. He spent $6 billion. Obviously, he spent it in rousing his supporters, in mobilizing his people. So that will always occur. It is impossible to campaign. It is impossible to prepare without some funding and expenditure. But as long as it does not violate the rights of the other persons in the ring, and it doesn't violate our party's constitution, then that's all right.
All right. Peter Obi, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi is a very strong name in modern politics here in Nigeria. And many have said it feels really good to have him join the ADC, regardless of the party issues with the Labour Party and so on. But for us, the big question would be, whenever we speak to members of the ADC like yourself, you have so many big names in one party. And what's the assurance that comes and counts that Mr. Peter Obi would emerge as the number one candidate, especially during the primaries? That's one. Secondly, he has also said that he will not be going for a vice role or office. How does the ADC plan to manage this? Because you also have Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who's also looking to run for presidency.
I think what is interesting is the fact that we completely avoid the mentioning of the possibility that Aderonke Junaidu can end up coming out and then emerging as the presidential candidate of this party. We have so much fixation on the big names that it just doesn't occur to us that providence and divine interference and intervention can bring forth, somebody called Salako Junaid or somebody called Emeka Chukwuemeka. The reality is that everybody has a right to their ambition. All of them, they have a right to their ambition. That's what politics is. It's about governance, and it's about winning elections. And that means there must be several aspirants, but only one will emerge at every level. At the presidency, at the governorship, at the Senate, House of Rep, Houses of Assembly, only one person will represent their constituency. But we expect there to be many. That's what democracy is all about. If you have an endorsement before you do primaries, that's dictatorship. The kind that you are seeing in the party in power, where they're already endorsing Rivers State governor without even thinking of primaries. When you endorse someone, you have told everybody else to go and sleep. That is not a democracy. That's the kind of thing. That's not the kind of thing that we fought the military for, in order to then have impositions all over again. There will be no imposition in this political party called African Democratic Congress. Everyone will put their hat in the ring. Everybody will go there and fight and slug it out, and we'll get the best candidate, and we'll go out there and win Nigeria and win government.
What would you say is the general mood like in the ADC with this official announcement? Yes, there had been speculation for months. His Excellency Peter Obi was part of the coalition from the jump. We would see him at the meetings, but never an official resignation. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was the first to officially resign from the PDP and then join the ADC. And now we've seen that His Excellency Peter Obi has joined. But what is the general mood like within the ADC? So many influential figures. We have Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, we have Peter Obi, we have Rotimi Amechi, and I mean, recently we heard of Abaribe joining the ADC as well. We also heard that some of your members had moved from the ADC to NNPP in Kano. I don't know if you saw the video yesterday of the NNPP leadership saying that those who betray the party, just in case they are planning to betray the party, they should know that they will not succeed. But let's get your reactions to that.
Again, you see, the most critical thing is that, again, we are not a cult, we are not a gang, we're a democratic political party, African Democratic Congress. People are free to move up and down. People are free to go wherever they want to go, as long as they don't go and then tell lies about what's happening in the party. They complete the politics of saying, maybe I can't see a way forward, and then they can resign honorably and go to another party. That is allowed, that is constitutional, that is exactly what we have benefited from in ADC. People have resigned from their various parties and come to join us. So we will expect that a certain percentage will also decide that, okay, you know what, I cannot survive in this huge ocean called ADC. I'd rather be a golden fish in a smaller pond. And so they will go. So that's not a problem for us at all. And I don't think, I think the fact that we have been open in ADC, the fact that we are kind of accommodating in ADC, in itself is a reflection of the kind of democracy that Nigeria is looking for. The way we are governing ADC is sending a message about how we're going to govern Nigeria. Because if we're not inclusive, if we're only thinking tribal or religious sentiments, then people are going to be afraid that this is going to end up becoming a regional party or a religious or tribal party or a party belonging to just one particular person and group. And that's really what most of us have run away from in deciding that ADC is the party we wanted to be part of. And here we're benefiting from that vision and that philosophy. So we now have probably the most diverse party in the history of Nigeria, and it's good for Nigeria, and I think Nigerians will buy into it.
If you're saying this about the ADC, would you agree that the APC can say the same thing as well? Because we've seen a lot of people moving to the APC. You know, the South is practically APC at the moment. Do you have the same sentiments about the APC and the defections that have happened?
No, the reason I don't have those sentiments is that the members of the Houses of Assembly in those states are the ones who have not joined ADC with Peter Obi. So there's a difference between individuals who are the leadership, who are elected, who have decided to decamp for their own pecuniary interests, and the general people themselves who are elected as representatives are following them. So while we might say that there's some similarity, the difference is very clear. These people only join the government in power because the government is in power. The question you will have asked yourself is this: will they have joined if the government is not in power? Will they have decided to leave their own political parties if the government is not in power? So there's a difference between people freely joining a political party that is not in power, that does not have the resources to splash out and give, as we have seen, 50 billion in some instances, 30 billion here, and then up. You know, Nigeria is almost a crime scene when you think of the way we play with our Commonwealth. No, we are a party that has attracted people because we truly have the heart of Nigeria. When we say the word arise and shine in ADC, it's actually from the Bible. It's from Isaiah 60, arise and shine for your light has come. So that means the timing is when people are seeing and hearing and say, okay, you know what? It's time for Nigeria to rise up and shine, and we're going to make it happen. That's different from people just going to the money. We are not here gathering for money. We really, truly think it's time to make a difference. And by the way, I know that references are made to all these big people. I think a lot of people have forgotten that there's a lot of ordinary Nigerians who have joined ADC. As a state chairman, I know how many thousands. Just on 31st, I was in Sule receiving people, young people, diverse people from Labour Party who have joined us in Sule 2 weeks before it was Ojo. So these ordinary people that have joined even before their principals joined. So I think we have to be clear that Nigerians just feel maybe this is our best way forward, really.
Now, Mr. Ashiru, I'm glad you mentioned Lagos, and that brings us, let's move away from the federal for a bit, and that brings me to Lagos. The ruling party in Lagos has effectively been ruling since 1999, even though the party has metamorphosized from Alliance for Democracy to ACN to what we have today as APC. Are there any plans at the state level to challenge this administration, the APC administration in Lagos State, or is it a foregone conclusion?
Then what is the purpose of the coalition? The purpose of the coalition, which is extremely successful in Lagos, probably even more successful in Lagos than anywhere else, is to actually, for a change, remove impunity that we have experienced, remove the dictatorship that we've experienced, remove oppression that we've experienced. As a state chairman of African Democratic Congress, you're all aware, the whole world is aware of how we couldn't even gather in Ali Moshov several months ago. But let me tell you that since then, the powers of this state have sent police to prevent ADC gatherings in at least 6 separate occasions since then, including just 2 weeks ago when I went to Ojo, and they sent lorry loads of policemen to stop an ADC gathering. Why would you do that if you're not afraid that this is a credible alternative that would challenge you? So right now we are the David against the Goliath. where right now the chance that the people have to give them a voice and an opportunity to speak. So we have almost all the top people in Labour Party in Lagos have come to join us. All the top people and all the leaders of PDP in Lagos have come to join us. We have the APCs with the Omoluabi. In fact, we have over 10 different political movements already in ADC in Lagos, and I'm talking including political parties whose members have resigned to join us. As I'm speaking to you in the next few days, we're going to have sitting members of the House of Reps joining us. So what then, what other message can we send to the fact that, okay, this is the time for this long-running, long-standing institution that simply sees itself as what PDP used to call themselves, so a decade and a half ago, that they would never leave power. That Lagosians are just saying, no, you know what? We need to try something different. And Lagosians are going to speak on the polls. I assure you that it's going to be a political tsunami. It doesn't matter how much money they spend at the grassroots. It doesn't matter how much rights they give and palliatives and cash transfers they do. When people are tired, it's like a wife that is abused. The wife will still leave. And that's exactly what is going to happen in Lagos politics.
All right.
Lagos.
Yeah.
Lagos in the fore. I was going to ask, we do understand that Behaviour Revival Roads is with the ADC. Are there any plans in terms of looking forward to having any convention soon, especially in Lagos? I do see online that after the successful launch of your office in Abuja, there has been reports or statements that there might be pocket-sized convention and meetings. The last one you highlighted and just mentioned, the one that was marred by violence here in Lagos. By the way, what's the ADC doing to also manage such situation, especially during the elections?
Well, our meetings are just party meetings. They're not conventions. They're just party meetings. They're, when when there's a lot of coalition going up, people are coming into the party. So we need to receive them. And it is the reception of new members that are being disrupted. We have it on good authority that local government chairmen and LCDA chairmen have been told to basically make sure that ADC doesn't breathe. This is exactly why we need to have a change. You cannot impose your will on the people in a democratic experience. It's just evil, and apart from the fact that it's illegal. And the fact that the police is playing that role and playing that part is worrisome for us as a country. So we're not having convention. A convention of the party is a national convention. It's held once a year. And it will be, the national will decide that. What will happen next in ADC this year, very soon, are the various congresses, the legal congresses that will determine party leaders. The party leaders are then the ones that will make the delegates that will attend the national primaries when the time comes. So the national primaries, including state primaries, by the way, all the way from the assembly primaries to House of Reps, they will be conducted at the state level, and then the national primaries will determine who will be the presidential candidate. The guidelines should be released as soon as INEC blows the whistle. When INEC blows the whistle, any party that has not previously organized its congresses, including ADC, will then start organizing their congresses peacefully, in whatever manner we think is according to the Constitution. And it is at the end of that we will then face the internal primaries to choose our various candidates. And then we will then have the national convention that will produce the presidential candidate. The whole process probably will take about 2 months, 2.5 months. But as soon as INEC blows the whistle, the party will respond by publishing these details. But for now, the details are not yet done because we're yet to have the meeting to ratify all of these decisions.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. George Ashiru, Chairman of the African Democratic Congress, Lagos State. And we look forward to talking to you again. And maybe, just maybe, the so-called, like you said, there's no faction, but the ones who tag themselves as factions.
The group.
The group. Maybe we should refer to
Thank you, group.
The group, okay. The group will possibly put out a press release again. Thanks for your time and have a wonderful one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful year too.
Thank you.
As well.
We're going on a quick break. When we come back, we have more to look into. This time we're delving straight to Rivers State. It's part 2 of Wike versus Fubara. Stay with us.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says his political camp is collapsing all existing structures in Rivers State ahead of the 2027 general elections to secure victory and mobilize support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Wike, who spoke during a New Year visit to Akpoti-Uduaghan local government area, said recent attacks against him were linked to his performance in office and stressed the need to correct political mistakes made during the 2023 elections.
Come and, of course, continued amid political tensions in the state following its rift with Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Wike insisted that agreements reached during the September 2025 peace deal must be respected. A rumored agreement that Fubara would not seek a second term. Wike's words are re-echoed, and especially on his speech at the Gokana local government as well. But then again, Governor Siminalayi Fubara has said he is now the 001 of the APC party in Rivers State, which simply means he is the #1 man for the current ruling party. But let's bring in our guest. He's former special advisor to the FCT, Minister Nyesom Wike. Mr. Okunabo Inkotaria joins us this morning. It's been a long time since we had you on Breakfast Central, and it feels really good to have you again.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are we?
Very well, thank you. Great to have you back.
Well, I can see that you only said Olive. I mean, Joe is here, Benga is here. I mean,
oh, Joe, sorry, my apologies. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Good morning.
And Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Yes,
thank you. Good to see you again. But are we starting to see the part 2 of this movie? Because it's starting to look like a blockbuster, and the editors and directors and the cameramen are going back to work. We thought it was over. So this is part 2. What's your take on this latest fracas, or you'd say differences between the FCT minister and the current governor?
Well, let the editors and the cameramen be always ready, because the drama has just started. And it's going to end, by God's grace, by the end of next year after the elections. But on a very serious note, Rivers persons lament what I call recrudescence of political spasm. By now, we ought to have gone past this level. The Rivers persons are the ones that are worst hit in terms of development. Yes, the government is working at a frenetic pace. He's been commissioning projects. He commissioned projects preceding the declaration of a state of emergency. He just finished commissioning projects after the declaration of the state of emergency when he was, when he got back to office, reinstated. But then it is not even at the pace, because this is a government that is committed, not just delivering the dividends of democracy, like we always say in our local parlance, but he's committed to the welfare of Rivers indigenes and persons resident in Rivers State, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of human capital development. And Rivers persons are really happy with him. The support this man has is organic. Even when some persons are not happy, because what I said, I want to differentiate between when they say dividends of democracy as misconstrued in Nigeria. You know, in Nigeria, a follower believes that he has to be given handouts every time. He's sick, the government must sponsor. He has a wife's marriage ceremony, the government must sponsor. His son's birthday, the government must sponsor. No. But what the government is trying to do is to ensure that there is a conducive enabling environment for businesses to thrive. And so you don't need to know the governor to be able to survive. But unfortunately, because of the hubris of one man who believes he's the godfather of Rivers State, and he has been saying so, he has been vaunting, who said he went into an agreement with the governor to do one thing. This agreement took place after the election and resumption of office as a governor, because they had issues. The governor was trying to resist the pestilence of godfatherism, which is trying to foist on the governor. And they went to Mr. President, and at the instance of Mr. President, they reached an agreement. Probably he was browbeaten into that. We all knew the circumstances surrounding that incident before the declaration of state of emergency and after the declaration of state of emergency. He was browbeaten into agreeing. Now, assuming without concealing that the governor even said that, yes, I'm not going to do a second term. Is that democratic? Is this not the antithesis of democracy? Then why do you need democracy in this country? We need dictatorship. Then we should go back to the military era, where the president or anybody who just got a mind to say, the military governor, you've been sacked from this state, bring another governor. The persons, I'm not saying you must support the governor of the state. It is not a must. If today you've gone your separate ways and you no longer want to support the governor, bring your pilgrims to bear. Do whatever you can legally, lawfully, legitimately to ensure that the governor does not win in the next forthcoming election. That is acceptable. But to say that you want to plank, you want to hinge the governor, not well, how will I put it? Is it disenfranchisement or whatever of the governor, or force the governor out not to contest because of an agreement that was reached? I mean, it's sort of an eclipse of reason and poverty of logic.
Okay.
That is what Rivers are saying. That we will not allow that to happen. We will never allow that to, unless the government itself comes out to say, I am not going to contest. And even if he does so, and he does not have a cogent reason, I will tell you, he will have reached his political nadir for life. Because persons who have confidence in him will never trust him again for life. You better go to the polls and fail.
Okay.
Rather than be intimidated out of contest.
Let's talk about the citizens in Rivers State now, beyond the big figures or the big political figures in the persons of the current governor and the former governor. What are the citizens saying, and what is the general mood like in Port Harcourt? Because Mr. Wike did say that, you know, there is a unity of purpose, sort of. He says, I don't want to hear I'm PDP or I'm APC. You know, that the APC and the PDP are now part of the renewed hope family. He said they have already been collapsed into one family. Can we say that that unity really exists in the political space in Rivers State?
When you say unity, he has a structure. As we speak today, the local government chairmen belong to a structure, are members of a structure by default, let me put it that way. So if he's collapsing the structure, I can't really understand what he meant by, because when you say you're collapsing the structure, you're talking of two different structures melding, coming together. Then you say they've been collapsed into one. But you already have a structure. So you're collapsing that structure into what structure? That is the conundrum. And that is what I cannot really fathom. If you are collapsing my structure into this other structure, it simply means that was a separate structure. I came with a different structure, and I'm melding, we are coming together as one family, as one structure. But I cannot move my structure from number 8 Hospital Road to number 10 Hospital Road and say I'm collapsing the structure. No, I just moved from one building to another building. So I don't really understand. I can't really glean what that means by collapsing all structures. That's the conundrum to me.
All right. So now that he has spoken about support, and another thing I want to speak about is the current governor. Regardless of what the drama is between him and Nyesom Wike, he seems to now have thrown his support behind President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he's moved to the APC. How would you analyze that move? Because this was something that was initially criticized. His administration and his supporters, the elders in Rivers State, threw their support behind him. A number of them, a huge chunk of them threw their support behind him at the initial commencement of this issue. But now he has aligned himself with the center. How are you taking it? How are the elders in taking it? How are the citizens in Rivers State taking it?
If I have to be very honest with you, Rivers peasants are the ones that urged him to move. You see, politics is a concentric circle of conspiracies and articulated interests. Now, what is the articulated interest? Don't forget that before now, the governor had always said that he was ready to even leave. He was no longer interested in that government house. We are talking of when the rift between the governor and the minister got to its apogee and the state of emergency was declared. But we said to him, if you do that, then you also move out of the state. Because in the last 10, 15 years, this is the best administration Rivers persons have got. I can tell you, save these political impasse, save these efforts to steamy, all attempts to steam his efforts in delivering the dividends of democracy, as we say in this part of the world. this is a governor that has really come to work in the interest of Rivers persons. The civil servants are happy with him. The support he has is organic. And we are not joking when we say the support the governor has is organic. No, he has never called anybody to say, go and defend me anywhere. In fact, that he was even taciturn initially, not talking. Persons were peeved. People were very angry. We felt he has been cowed. He has been intimidated into submission. He has capitulated. So, Rivers persons are really happy. And we said to him, okay, if the problem is the party, if the problem is your loyalty to the president as against the constitution, I have to be fair. If that is it, because of the kind of democracy we operate, then no problem. You can move. Move to APC. It doesn't affect governance. It will rather enhance governance. Because it's not all about who you support. It's all about what you intend to bequeath. In Nigeria, we don't believe in party ideology. In Nigeria, we don't believe in you belong to party A, so this is the ideology of party A, and you must stick to it. No, that is not. Nigerian parties are just special purpose vehicles. That is why people can cross carpet from one party to another. In the morning, they are in party A. By 8 o'clock in the morning, party A. By 10 o'clock, is in party B. By 12 o'clock, is in party C. It's all about how his ambition can be brought to fruition. And if you're moving to a party, what do they call APC, if that will give you some respite and allow them to make them to allow you to govern and govern peacefully, and also ensure that those things you have for Rivers persons are delivered, then move. That is why we said, then you move. It's like seeking political refuge.
Now, Mr. Nkotana,
and that was what he did.
Let's now talk about the members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, because when Governor Fubara was suspended during the state of emergency, they were at loggerheads, and people thought, given the 6 months hiatus, they would have mended fences and they will be on the same page. But as we speak today, they seem to be a graveyard sort of peace. The members of the House have accused the governor of spending without appropriation. What's the current situation and the relationship between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and members of the Rivers State House of Assembly led by Honorable Martins Amewule?
It's frosty, quite frosty, because they've turned down all over. Even recently, the Christmas gifts the governor sent to them, they rejected it. The relationship is frosty. Now, I don't think it's because they are doing that of their own volition. They are acting at the behest of their principle. It's as simple as that. Don't also forget when the Supreme Court said go back and represent that budget.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. When you say they're acting in the interest of the principle, they were elected by people of Rivers State.
Yes. I said, I don't think it's a volition. I don't think most of them. I'm not saying that is what it is because they've not said anything to me. But we don't really think, I don't really think that most of them are doing that because of the conviction they have. Their actions are planned on conviction. But I think it's just at the behest of their principle. If the principle says, don't do this, then you don't do this, then you do. So until their principle is sincere when it comes to, and of course, the issue of compromise is gone, the issue of reconciliation is gone from the speeches and the statements they've all made. So unless the principle is sincere on the issue of reconciliation, you don't expect them to do otherwise, to do it to the contrary. So if you ask me in synopsis, the relationship is frosty, and that is not hidden. They have frosty relationship.
All right. If you say they have, anyway.
And are there any plans to fix this frosty relationship? Because he still has almost 2 years.
Well,
left.
now that we have the president as the chief judge of the River State lingering crisis, let's also hope that the chief judge of the River State lingering crisis will also bring his weight to bear to ensure Because we also need the assembly for the passage of laws. We also need the assembly for the 2026 budget. So let's see how it goes. Maybe when he's back, I don't know if he's back. When he's back, he's also going to invite the feuding parties and see how they can smoothen out the ranks.
How do you project that these things will turn out? First of all, the agreement that was made, the peace accord, which we never got.
The agreement is a nullity. Let's leave that agreement. It's a nullity.
Why do
you know? Only if you know it's a nullity.
Why do you?
How can I come to you and tell you that only okay? If you want us to reconcile, you must leave your husband. Assuming you're married, I say you must. Or you come and leave your wife for us to reconcile. What kind of an agreement is that?
Okay.
Oh my God, the place is dark now.
All right, sorry about that.
I don't know, but you know, is it better now?
We apologize for that. I mean, our producers will tell us
no, it's okay.
It's much better.
And this band A, band A.
Okay, we can work with it.
Okay, let's go ahead.
All right, if band A.
I hope the Minister of Power is watching so he can do something.
I mean, I'm shocked that band A still works there and where I am, but the band is gone. We're on the band.
I heard you this morning and I was just laughing. I was just laughing with those with the coconut head as well.
Okay, let's now let's get back into this and talk about your projection for how this will turn out. You say the agreement is a nullity. It does not seem the FCT minister is giving up, as he's clearly said. I mean that there's no guarantees in this scenario. Do you foresee Siminalayi Fubara contesting for a second term, and does he have the support of the people to win a second term?
He does. He has the support of the people, and he's going to contest for a second. We hope he's going to contest for a second term. He has not said anything to anybody. You know, he's laconic. But we hope he's going to contest for a second term, and if he does, he definitely Rivers persons, not just residents in Rivers State, are definitely going to vote for him. It will be a sweeping victory. How do they call it again? Where is that other word? Moonslide? Oh, how is it put?
Landslide.
Oh my God. Landslide, thank you.
Yes,
landslide. And if you contest, it will be a landslide, yes.
Now, the FCT minister recently spoke about the advantages of that is support for President Tinubu has brought to Rivers State. Are you able to testify to this or point to any tangible achievements that this support or this alignment might have brought to the people of Rivers State?
What support, sorry?
The FCT minister spoke about the advantages his support for President Tinubu has brought to Rivers State. Are you able to testify to this or share examples of...
Maybe he's talking of the appointments at the federal level. Of course, we have some Rivers persons who occupying some sensitive positions at the federal level. And we all know that as at that time, the FCT minister was the recognized representative of the president as at that time, preceding the declaration of the state of emergency. So maybe that's what he's talking about. Otherwise, I can't recall any other.
All right.
Benefit.
Okay.
I can't recall any other benefit. Because if we talk of the high level and so it was not done under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That was started under President Muhammadu Buhari of blessed memory.
Okay, let's bring in some other persons to the conversation. We have Rivers State PDP Chieftain, Honorable Collins Odu. Thank you for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central. I want to believe you've been following the conversation with Mr. Opunabo Inkotaria, and he's spoken about the support that Governor Siminalayi Fubara has from the people of Rivers State, the support to run for a second term, even though he hasn't clearly stated that. Do you agree with that as well?
Thank you for having me. Happy New Year to Nigerians.
Happy New Year.
Yes, let me also greet those in the studio there, and then my brother too, Opunabo Inkotaria. I disagree with him because, you see, there's this saying that if you do one thing the same way and get the same result, and then you continue doing the same thing that same way, I think you are the fool who have gone this route before now, many times, and people had intervened, I don't see any reason why the governor will not act according to what he has agreed to. How can we continuously have problems? Is he the first governor in Rivers State? Okay, he's talking about his godfather. He doesn't believe in godfatherism. Nobody believes in godfatherism, but you came through a structure. Act according to the structure. You want to destroy everything. This same structure was the one that we used in putting him as governor, in making him governor, and then also supporting the president, which we have not reneged. I don't know what, you see, the governor was, I won't blame him so much. He was in the civil service before he was asked to come and contest based on few characteristics that were found in him then. We didn't know that these were deceptive characteristics. And now, for you to continue and then govern well, a governor that will not be in good relationship with his House of Assembly, can that work? Even the president, who is the highest, who is the number one in this country, manages his National Assembly to ensure that there is no friction. He's a governor that will always want to fight the Assembly. How can that work? You go the same route after you begin to beg. This Akpoti-Uduaghan is one of those who has been calling the president to settle the rift between the Assembly and the governor. Now they have settled it. What is the problem again? What is the problem again? They have gone back to him to begin to brainwash him to do the same things he has been doing before that has never yielded result. So that is my take on that.
Okay, let me allow Mr. Akpabio to also respond to that, although he's spoken a lot in terms of the entire issue. But before I come to you, Mr. Akpabio, I want to ask Mr. Odu, what is this threat that the FCT minister is bringing forth, that he's going to expose the agreement that was made between himself and also the current governor, Siminalayi Fubara, with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? And what is really contained in this? Because, I mean, I know you're closer to the FCT minister. You may have known what these agreements are. Does it include in any way that Governor Siminalayi Fubara will run for only one term and then step down?
Anyway, I am as blank as you are.
Oh, okay.
They sat and had their agreement, which I think that the only thing that can inform them to expose it is when others are not responding to the agreement. I think that one way or the other, even from the first step the governor took, I think that he started making mistakes. When this peace was brokered, I recall when I sent in, I had to do a personal reminder to the governor that, look, you have actually embraced peace. There are certain procedures that you need to take that will make this peace enduring. 2 days later, they held a meeting that was held in the one of our leaders' house, Anabaraba.
I said, Lord, I don't think it's a revolution. I don't think most of them. I'm not saying that is what it is because they've not said anything to me. But we don't really think, I don't really think that most of them are doing that because of the conviction they have. Their actions are planned on conviction. But I think it's just at the behest of their principle. If the principle says, don't do this, then you don't do this, then you do. So until their principle is sincere when it comes to, and of course, the issue of compromise is gone, the issue of reconciliation is gone from the speeches and the statements they've all made. So unless the principle is sincere on the issue of reconciliation, you don't expect them to do otherwise, to do it to the contrary. So if you ask me in synopsis, the relationship is frosty, and that is not hidden. They have frosty relationship.
All right. If you say they have, anyway.
And are there any plans to fix this frosty relationship? Because I mean, he still has almost 2 years.
Well,
left.
now that we have the president as the chief judge of the River State lingering crisis, let's also hope that the chief judge of the River State lingering crisis will also bring his weight to bear to ensure, because we also need the assembly for the passage of laws. We also need the assembly for the 2026 budget. So let's see how it goes. Maybe when it's back, I don't know if it's back. When it's back, he's also going to invite the feuding parties and see how they can smoothen out the ranks.
How do you project that these things will turn out? First of all, the agreement that was made, the peace accord, which we never got.
The agreement is a nullity. Let's leave that agreement. It's a nullity.
Why do you
know? Only if you know it's a nullity.
Why do you?
How can I come to you and tell you that only okay? If you want us to reconcile, you must leave your husband. Assuming you're married, I say you must. Or you come and leave your wife for us to reconcile. What kind of an agreement is that?
Okay.
Oh my God, the place is dark now.
All right, sorry about that.
I don't know, but you know, is it better now?
We apologize for that. I mean, our producers will tell us
no, it's okay.
It's much better.
And this is band A. This is band A.
Okay, we can work with
it. Let's go ahead.
All right, if Band A.
I hope the Minister of Power is watching so he can do something.
I mean, I'm shocked that Band A still works there and where I am, but the band is gone. We're on the band.
Yeah, I heard you this morning and I was just laughing. I was just laughing with those with the coconut head as well.
Okay, let's now let's get back into this and talk about your projection for how this will turn out. You say the agreement is a nullity. It does not seem the FCT minister is giving up, as he's clearly said. I mean that there's no guarantees in this scenario. Do you foresee Siminalayi Fubara contesting for a second term, and does he have the support of the people to win a second term?
He does. He has the support of the people, and he's going to contest for a second. We hope he's going to contest for a second term. He has not said anything to anybody. You know, he's laconic. But we hope he's going to contest for a second term, and if he does, he definitely Rivers persons, not just residents in Rivers State, are definitely going to vote for him. It will be a sweeping victory. How do they call it again? Where is that other word? Moonslide? Oh, how is it put?
Landslide.
Oh my God. Landslide, thank you.
Yes.
Landslide. And if you contest, it will be a landslide, yes.
Now, the FCT minister recently spoke about the advantages of that is support for President Tinubu has brought to Rivers State. Are you able to testify to this or point to any tangible achievements that this support or this alignment might have brought to the people of Rivers State?
What support, sorry?
The FCT minister spoke about the advantages his support for President Tinubu has brought to Rivers State. Are you able to testify to this or share examples of...
Maybe he's talking of the appointments at the federal level. Of course, we have some Rivers persons who occupying some sensitive positions at the federal level. And we all know that as at that time, the FCT minister was the recognized representative of the president as at that time, preceding the declaration of a state of emergency. So maybe that's what he's talking about. Otherwise, I can't recall any other benefit.
Okay.
I can't recall any other benefit. Because if we talk of the high prep and so it was not done under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That was started under President Muhammadu Buhari of blessed memory.
Okay, let's bring in some other persons to the conversation. We have Rivers State PDP Chieftain, Honorable Collins Odu. Thank you for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central. I want to believe you've been following the conversation with Mr. Aponabo Nkotaria, and he's spoken about the support that Governor Siminalayi Fubara has from the people of Rivers State, the support to run for a second term, even though he hasn't clearly stated that. Do you agree with that as well?
Thank you for having me. Happy New Year to Nigerians.
Happy New Year.
Yes, let me also greet those in the studio there, and then my brother too, Aponabo Nkotaria. I disagree with him because, you see, there's this saying that if you do one thing the same way and get the same result, and then you continue doing the same thing that same way, I think you are the fool who have gone this route before now, many times, and people had intervened, I don't see any reason why the governor will not act according to what he has agreed to. How can we continuously have problems? Is he the first governor in Rivers State? Okay, he's talking about his godfather. He doesn't believe in godfatherism. Nobody believes in godfatherism, but you came through a structure. Act according to the structure. You want to destroy everything. This same structure was the one that we used in putting him as governor, in making him governor, and then also supporting the president, which we have not reneged. I don't know what, you see, the governor was, I won't blame him so much. He was in the civil servant, he was in the civil service before he was asked to come and contest based on few characteristics that were found in him then. We didn't know that these were deceptive characteristics. And now, for you to continue and then govern well, a governor that will not be in good relationship with his House of Assembly, can that work? Even the president, who is the highest, who is the number one in this country, manages his National Assembly to ensure that there is no friction. This is a governor that will always want to fight the Assembly. How can that work? You go the same route after you begin to beg. This Opunabo is one of those who has been calling the president to settle the rift between the Assembly and the governor. Now they have settled it. What is the problem again? What is the problem again? They have gone back to him to begin to brainwash him to do the same things he has been doing before that has never yielded result. So that is my take on that.
Okay, let me allow Mr. Akpabio to also respond to that, although he's spoken a lot in terms of the entire issue. But before I come to you, Mr. Akpabio, I want to ask Mr. Odu, what is this threat that the FCT minister is bringing forth, that he's going to expose the agreement that was made between himself and also the current governor, Siminalayi Fubara, with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? And what is really contained in this? Because, I mean, I know you're closer to the FCT minister. You may have known what these agreements are. Does it include in any way that Governor Siminalayi Fubara will run for only one term and then step down?
Anyway, I am as blank as you are.
Oh, okay.
They sat and had their agreement, which I think that the only thing that can inform them to expose it is when others are not responding to the agreement. I think that one way or the other, even from the first step the governor took, I think that he started making mistakes. When this peace was brokered, I recall when I sent in, I had to do a personal reminder to the governor that, look, you have actually embraced peace. There are certain procedures that you need to take that will make this peace enduring. 2 days later, they held a meeting that was held in the one of our leaders' house, Anabraba, Elder Freddie Anabraba, the chairman of the Elders Council. So from that meeting, he was supposed to begin to relate to the people, and also as a former House of Assembly member, I know that for the governor to begin to do to begin to use the funds of Rivers State, he is supposed to. We know that yes, the sole administrator went to the National Assembly to seek approval for 2026 to 2025, but the governor's programs may not be in consonance with that budget. It was expected that within this period, you tie your relationship, you knock up your relationship with the House of Assembly and present a supplementary budget. To this date, nothing like that has happened.
Okay, all right. So we can rightly say that there seems to be no following of the agreements. Let me come to Mr. Akpabio very quickly. We're moving to a very, very busy year, starting today, 2nd of January. The political landscape, especially in Nigeria, will be hotting up. We do have congresses that will take place, primaries and so on, because like many have said, the year of politics is today. It's now, 2026, and not 2027, where it will be carried out. What's your take on what's really happening now? Would it have any effect or impact on the political landscape in Rivers State? Do you think Rivers State will actually be known for its peaceful return towards carrying out its political duties, especially from Siminalayi Fubara's aspect?
And I don't think I'll be clairvoyant enough to say what tomorrow holds for Rivers State in terms of politics, given the overheated political engine right now in the state. But on the part of the governor, I have the conviction that he's a peace-loving man, and I don't think he's going to do anything that would threaten the peace of Rivers State. That I am quite sure of. Nevertheless, let me quickly respond to what Colin said concerning the agreement. I had done so earlier on. But let me also say this. Is that agreement skewed in favor of the Hebrews of one man or in favor of Rivers persons? Is that agreement democratic? Don't forget that the FCT minister, the major problem he had within Bata before now was that as at that time, local government chairman just did one term. And he wanted to go for a second term. And then Bata said no. That was the genesis of the problem. Before he ran to help Peter Odele, who helped him. This he has been saying every day. And it's not as if Nabo is just talking. This is what even Wike himself acknowledged in public on several occasions. So is it democratic for you to get up to say you must not do a second term? Why not? And like I said here, if you want to work against the governor, there is no problem. But you cannot tell a man you cannot do a second term when he has the democratic right to run for a second term. Is that not dictatorship? Is that what we should endorse? It is not because today it is your turn. What of tomorrow? Is that what we should endorse? What was the problem between Magnus, Abi, and Rotimi Amechi? Amechi drove to Magnus' house and told him you must not contest for the governorship. That was their problem. And he said, no, you can't walk into my parlor and tell me not to contest for the governorship. You can't dictate it. If they are called me aside and pleaded without that being a different thing. But you cannot force me. You cannot forbid me into not contest for the governorship. It is my right. And you did so in the presence of my wife. So when we are saying this, let us be realistic and very objective as we can. Today we are saying between Fubara and Yesowike. Tomorrow it could be Yesowike versus any other person. That is my argument. It's not all about Steve Fubara. It's not about me. I'm talking of the structure. It's not about. I'm talking of democracy. It's not about Steve Fubara. It's not about Yesowike. It's not about any other person. Not tomorrow now we'll come on air to recount what we just said. No, in this situation it was like this. That's why we said this. No. Let us state the facts because the world is watching. What kind of agreement will you go into to tell a man to not contest? I would have even preferred the scenario where he told him, if you contest, I'll come after you politically. Let's meet at the battlefield. Then I can accept such challenge. But not to say no. Okay, why will he not contest? What has he done? But you say he should not contest. What has he done? Because he fell out with you? I said that agreement is a nullity. You can't go into an agreement with anybody. You cannot. That is my take on that issue. On the issue of 2026, 2027, well, I don't, like I said, the political news is overheated. We've listened to the comments and so on. Let us wait. We just pray. Like Collins rightly said, I also said, okay, Mr. President, intervene. Let him come back. Like I said on the issue of the House of Assembly, I said we all need the House of Assembly because we are talking about 2026 budget. So let the president come and look into this matter. Or let him say, all of us should go to the battlefield. And let us watch and see.
Okay. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We really wish Mr. Collins Odu, you joined us earlier. But what we're going to do is we'll try as much as possible to schedule another time to have this conversation because we're starting to see that it is a developing story. There would be more angles to discuss on. So please, gentlemen, do afford us your time when we do come calling. Thank you so much for joining us in the meantime. Have a great day.
Anytime.
Thank you. All right. We'll bring to you the news. Oliver will bring into us breakfast headlines, after which we'll bring to you the front pages of the newspapers. Stay with us. All right, so let's go straight to the front pages of the newspapers right after we bring to you breakfast headlines right now. And let's tell you that the Federal Capital Territory is where we're going to first. The Nigerian Police Force has suspended nationwide enforcement of the tinted glass permit policy following an interim court order. The policy was earlier scheduled to take effect from today, January 2nd, 2026, after an announcement by the police citing security concerns. In a statement signed by the force PRO, Benjamin Hundeyin, police authorities confirmed they were served with a court order restraining enforcement pending the hearing of a substantive court or suit. The force has entered appearance in court, filed objections and applied for the order to be vacated, with the case adjourned to January 20, 2026. Well, that's the update on the tinted glass permits. As you drive, please take note. Talking security next, the United States Congressman has warned of a growing threat posed by Islamic State-linked fighters in Nigeria, citing concerns over attacks on Christian communities. Congressman Riley Moore said reports circulating online suggest militants affiliated with the Islamic State West Africa province are targeting Christian villages, particularly in Adamawa State. The reports allege threats against Christians, including demands for conversion or payment of taxes. Moore described the situation as religious persecution and welcomed ongoing security cooperation between the United States and Nigerian authorities. Let's tell you that leading opposition figures have kicked against the commencement of the new tax reforms. The National Association of Nigerian Students and National Chairman of the African Democratic Congress, Senator David Mark, and also Labour Party Chairman Senator Nnamdi Usman, were among those who spoke against it. The outcry follows the High Court of Abuja's move to decline to restrain the federal government from going ahead with its January 1 timeline for the implementation of a same. The factional chairman of the PDP in Rivers State, Robinson Ewo, has called out Governor Siminalayi Fubara to tell Rivers people the agreement he had with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike in the build-up of the political crisis again in the state. At a press briefing, Ewo faulted Governor Fubara for attending the peace pact without any of his allies. He regretted that despite the president's two-time intervention, peace is yet to return to Rivers State, alleging that Governor Fubara is reneging on his promises. Robinson Ewo, who disclosed that he will support the FCT Minister and President Tinubu's re-election bid, also revealed some agreements reached between Governor Fubara and President Tinubu to include a no second-term deal for Fubara, among other issues.
The fourth and final issue I want to bring to the notice of Rivers people is the issue of local government thank you visits, which the FCT minister is currently embarking. Virtually in all the places the FCT minister visited and made speech, the FCT minister said agreements were reached before the lifting of the state of emergency. That agreement were reached with the State Assembly, with himself, the FCT minister, the National Assembly, the elders of our state, and then before the President of the Federal Republic. And he has been very consistent in his position. One of the things he highlighted in all the places he's visited is that one, that the governor agreed before the president not to run for a second term. Two, that the governor agreed that he would drop Tami Ganagogo as secretary of the state government. That the governor also agreed that he would drop Eddie Sinese as the chief of staff to the government house, including reinstating Chief Sergeant Awusi as chairman of Rivers State Council of Traditional Rulers and Chiefs, in addition to several other agreements. But all these things the FCT minister has said, he has been consistent in saying it up to today. Unfortunately, our governor, who is the executive governor of Rivers State.
Interesting times in Rivers State. Outside Nigeria now, Libya has confirmed that the United Kingdom will analyze the black box recovered from a plane crash in Turkey that killed a senior Libyan military delegation. The incident occurred on December 23, shortly after the aircraft departed Ankara, claiming the lives of General Mohammed al-Haddad, 4 aides and 3 crew members. Libyan authorities say the decision followed consultations with Turkey and was guided by international aviation rules requiring a neutral country to handle the analysis. Officials said the findings are expected to clarify the cause of the crash, which Turkish authorities have linked to an electrical failure. And that's a wrap on Breakfast Headlines. Stay with us. The front pages comes up next, after which we'll also be touching base with our correspondent in Morocco concerning the ongoing AFCON. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The president of Mozambique, Daniel Francisco Chapo, has announced an extraordinary bonus of 500,000 meticais, which is about 11.3 million for each player and coaching staff of the Mambas if they beat Nigeria in the round of 16 of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Now, the Mambas advanced after finishing third in Group F despite a 2-1 loss of Cameroon in their final group match. In a message to the team, President Chapo praised their courage, discipline and determination, calling their achievement unprecedented and a source of national pride. Nigeria and Mozambique is set to face off at the Complex Sportif de Fer on Monday, January 5th, with kickoff scheduled for 8 p.m. Joining us now is News Central's sports correspondent who is live in Morocco, Udoka Njoku. Good morning, Udoka. I hope the cold is not dealing with you too much.
It is freezing cold here, 9 degrees, and it's not even close to what we see in Canada, but it's very, very crazy here in Fez. But thank you very much for having me, and Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year to you as well. Udoka, should we be shaking? Should Nigerians be shaking as a result of this promised motivation to the players?
I mean, how many thousand meticals again? Their currency sounds like a mineral resource, so that should give them a lot of motivation.
Oleg, Benga, and Joe. When I was way younger, my dad promised me a video game console if I aced my, I think it was my common entrance exam results. But of course, I didn't ace it, and I didn't get the video game console. So it means that you can only make promises. Look, it is okay for you to make those promises, but football is played on a football pitch. No matter how much the Mozambique players get the kind of compensation or monetary promise that they've gotten from the presidency, if they don't play good football. See what happened to Gabon. A whole legend, Obama, has been sacked by the national team. So if you don't make it against Nigeria, it's a tough one in the round of 16. They barely squeezed through into the round of 16. So the president promising them a huge amount of money is just, I think it's just a promise, but I don't think Mozambique can get anything against Super Eagles of Nigeria, because for the Super Eagles, they are aiming to right the wrongs. And losing to any team, I don't think it's going to be Mozambique. So that money, they should just forget about it.
Now, Doka, let's talk preparations. The Super Eagles would have had 6 rest days since their last game, and the Mozambicans did play more recently. Is that a factor as we approach the game on Monday? Does it count for anything? Because some will say, you know, they've lacked competitive games and the Mozambicans played more recently. So that might work in their advantage. How do these things play out?
Well, for the Super Eagles, they only rested yesterday, the 1st of January. So it was just more like celebrating the news. Rather, they rested on the 31st. And they trained yesterday, and they'll be training again today, having a closed-door training. They will train again tomorrow. So I don't think the Super Eagles are having enough rest. They are training ahead of that game against Mozambique. And for the coach, he has said that he's not going to leave any stone unturned. So for the Super Eagles, they are well prepared for this game against Mozambique. We're expecting the Mozambique players to get into France later today, and hopefully they kick off their own closed-door training. So it promises to be a big match for the Super Eagles, a historic one for Super Eagles and, of course, Mozambique. But I don't think the players are resting. They are fully prepared for this one. So, yes, Mozambique played their last game against Cameroon, which they lost, but it doesn't mean that they played more games and they're well prepared than the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Playing against Nigeria is different from playing against teams like Cameroon in the Nations Cup.
All right, finally, before we let you go, Doka, there are insinuations about, as usual, money talk, payment of coaches, allowances, they haven't been paid. Players are also talking. Can you tell us what's the update concerning that? Bonuses, match bonuses, wages, and the likes.
As at now, none of the players have said anything about it. Media officer also has denied that claim that the players are complaining. The only one we know about was from Uganda, which they skipped training, but of course they eventually came back to playing and now they're out of the tournament. So nothing confirmed yet from both the media officer and the players. The only thing we know is about the injury concerns to Ryan Alebioshu and Cyril Dessers. And for Stanley Nwabali, he's still not 100% fit because as of yesterday, it was reported that he still has bandages on his ankle. So we're looking forward to more updates from the coach. Later today, we'll get that update and we'll share with you. But for the allowances, we've not heard any confirmed story from the Super Eagles camp.
All right. Thank you so much, Udoka and Joku, for doing a fantastic job. And stay warm if you can.
Stay warm because smoke is coming out of your mouth. Give me some good vibes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Udoka. Yeah, all the best. And good luck to the Super Eagles.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Udoka. All right. Let's bring to you the front pages of the papers up next. And that's where we're going to. And we're going to start off by introducing our in-house guests. Definitely the one you know so well. Public affairs analyst, one who talks and doesn't hold back, Mr. Theophilus Akatugba, joins us live in the studio.
Welcome, Mr. Akatugba.
Bienvenue. Good morning. Welcome.
New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you as well.
First off, on a light note, how do you interpret the rains in January? It's unprecedented.
Fantastic. I felt, well, you know, if you look at it, I saw it as a beautiful sign for 2026.
Let's hope.
I found it, you know, it's very unusual rain. 1st of January, around this time, everywhere is supposed to be dried up, but we had good.
Where is the Harmattan?
Now, the rain, the Harmattan came just a few days, earlier in December.
How do you feel it?
There was no Harmattan,
It was for 2 days.
No, we did not even feel it at all.
We had the haze and that chill in the morning, and then, but I think 2026 is starting on a good note. We had the blessing of rain, which is, you know, the blessings of God are usually symbolized by rain. And so I want to see that. There was a little heat in the rain. It was raining and sunny at the same time.
What of when?
That is a sign that there's going to be an early pressure.
What of when rain destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah?
Rain? No, it wasn't rain.
It wasn't rain.
Flood. Sorry, not Sodom and Gomorrah, Noah's Ark time.
Yeah, that was God's decision to wipe out the humanity because.
Did you hear that there was another one?
Fallen angel.
Okay, I think we need to move on this Christian religious studies class to the business we've come here to do, and that's the newspapers. Please, producers, can we have the front page of this Nigerian newspaper? If you want to continue with your theology, I think you should open your church. On the front page of this Nigeria, says National Assembly orders release of a Senate tax bill to end disputes. I think it's a good place to start. And Mr. Akatugba, is this not medicine after death? Because I mean, it's in.
Well, the damage is they've caused some damage, but they're trying to manage it and do damage control. You know, this tax bill has been very controversial. And so when that House of Rep member from Sokoto raised the alarm, my first thought was, wow, they've gotten their foot a bit on the bill a little bit to frustrate it. That was a massive thing. It was intended to frustrate the bill and ensure that it was not implemented as scheduled.
But I mean, they're genuine concerns. So when you use language,
you know, that's true because it was not as if he discovered it. It was orchestrated to be discovered.
Yes,
and so that's what we are saying. That's why you see every one of them, they are embarrassed that from the press, from the Ministry of Justice, they are looking for where the error came. It takes just one man to destroy a nation if people are not patriotic. once people are not patriotic, we practice democracy.
But what Honorable Abdulsamad Dasuki did on the floor of the House, that was very patriotic for raising the alarm.
No, I'm saying on the face of it, he's commendable for him to have done so. It could also be that he's also part of those that wanted it that way. It could also be that he's innocent and he spotted it, and some people orchestrated it. You know, in this country, we have so many people against the bill. The opposition parties have lined up behind it that it should not be implemented. So the press, the North, and a lot of elements in the North were opposed to this bill. It was like something very dreary, very to them. And so anything can be done in a country where interests are varied and it's a very mashy place. I want to commend every one of them for whatever they are doing to make sure that the bill came into action on the 1st, because Nigeria needs that bill.
Okay. Let's still put back the front page of the paper and take a few more stories. Here we've seen that unfortunately there's been a New Year's Eve attack carried out to armed security agencies in Ondo. 6 died, 2 injured in Ogun New Year auto crash. We'll come back to that, but let's take a bit of a lighter one. Akpabio bows to sermon and ends legal hostilities. All suits against Natasha, others withdrawn after homily. I don't know if you saw this video. If our producers, I don't know if our producers
and our director have that video.
Yes, it would be great for us to just...
the Senate President Godswill Akpabio withdrawing his lawsuits after the homily.
You know, it was one of our wake-up conversations.
Okay,
let's take a look.
The video.
Because today I listened to the homily and I just thought that the parish prepared for me. Because as the priest was speaking, he wasn't the one speaking. It was the Holy Spirit that was speaking through him. And he said, leave behind all things that happen in 2025 so that they don't drag you backwards. Hatred, avarice, feeling of being defamed, feeling of character assassination, being lied upon. Everything must end here in this church today. And you will move from here into the realm of the Spirit and face Nigeria and what God sent you to do. I want to assure the priest that I have heard. And because of what you said here, I had almost 9 cases in court against some individuals, against people who defamed me, who lied against me, who slandered my name, and all. But listening to the priest, I suddenly realized he was talking to me. So I hereby direct my solicitors to withdraw all lawsuits against me.
Church members celebrating with their hands, praising God, and this very beautiful impact of the homily. But let's get your thoughts.
Well, for those who are Christians, you will understand the power of a sermon that is spirit-directed and influenced. When men respond to sermon, there is peace on earth, because the Bible has said it, that so long as he lieth with you, live peaceably with all men, not with them. So Akpabio has shown to Nigerians the essence of Christmas and the New Year, that it's a period to let go all hurts, forgive all debts, and start the new year on a clean slate by action. So I must commend.
And you expect Senator
the
Natasha...
entire political class would also imbibe this and add it to governance and accountability.
It is a whole...
Also, it shouldn't just be forgiveness.
But not all are persuaded in the righteous path. So while we hope that the Holy Spirit will arrest a lot of them, many of them did not even go to a church to hear.
Director, next time Mr. Katuba is on the show, put political analyst /
clergyman.
Reverend Father.
Do you expect this action to be reciprocated by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan?
Since morning I've been looking at her reaction. I've been looking for any reaction that she could piece, and I suspect she might grandstand and think that this is an opportunity to win more
more ground.
More ground. So I hope she doesn't get tempted to do that.
So you hope that she also...
I hope she responds in this in like manner, so that this spirit of reconciliation will not only be from politicians, but across the
country. Should accept the olive branch.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at another story very quickly. I think...
sorry, as a matter of national importance, it's very important that we highlight this. 6 died, 2 injured in Ogun New Year auto crash. There was another crash yesterday on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. We're seeing, and just last week, NTA in Gombe lost 6 members of their staff to the road accident. We also remember the Anthony Joshua incident. So we're seeing multiple reports of crashes. Is it a period? Is it something that has to do with the time of the year, or and what can we do to really educate drivers? Because what we mostly do most times is just lip service from FRSC and road safety organizations.
Well, first of all, accidents are a common feature of road usage all over the world. It's not only in Nigeria, and then this period of festivities, people sometimes get excessively excited, and they indulge in a lot of, leisure, and at the same time, accidents have happened. We're seeing this one reported on Christmas Eve, on the New Year Eve as well. I saw an accident happen in the Delta around the Agbaro. Those guys just died instantly. And so there is a lot of misuse of the roads during this time, because some people are under the influence of, substances, alcohol and other things, and people are reckless. If you want to solve accident problem, you start with driver training, driver training and obedience to traffic rules. There's no way you will save accident if people don't obey traffic rules. And the road, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, haven't been so well done. It's tempting to fire on. And you see the way they drive, the road are not... First of all, the markings have all disappeared, and the vehicles are all flowing all over the place. And so the road itself has become a danger to the users because the quality has improved. Should that be the case? No. Drivers should know that the smoother the road, the danger...
More cautious.
More cautious you should be. But what do we see? We see people, they take the full capacity of their vehicle. People even go into that road to test how fast they can run. And these things we are seeing.
And put the lives of road.
And it's so painful that a driver could so endanger the lives of others. So for me, I will advise those who are driven to be vigilant.
I agree.
So even just like the case of Anthony Joshua, we do hear that the driver has been apprehended now. He's in police custody, because initially when that happened, we heard that he was nowhere to be found. He had found his way out of the car and leapt for hiding. But now we do hear that he's been apprehended. He's with police, and they're trying to find out what may have also led to the cause of the accident. But then again, it's too many accidents, too many fire disasters.
Yes.
Back to back to back.
Yes.
It's starting to look like, is it a planned strategy? I don't believe in that, but it's never been this.
It's too common.
Too common to be a coincidence.
It happens November, December.
During the Harmattan
And you know
season.
why? The period is...
Sorry, please just hold on. We have a call. Sorry to butt in.
Right.
We have a caller. Hello. Good morning, Uche.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to 2026. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. You see, when we talk about accidents on Christmas or festival period, sometimes we blame the National Orientation Agency. Have we been hearing jingles on how to drive, both on television and radio, from them? The activities of drivers, even FEMA, most of the roads, no signs on bad roads. That is a problem. These agencies should do what? Wake up, so that we reduce. We call it accidents. We reduce the accidents. Not that there won't be accidents. That is why we call it accident. Nobody, plan accidents. But on issue of, is it NEMA and, National Orientation Agency, let them do the needful. Let them spend the money. There is a budget for these agencies, so that even television houses will be doing what? We'll be playing it out. during a U-turn, season. God bless you people. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much. God bless you too.
I agree with him. During the Utah season, especially now, there's only, respect to the national television, which is the NTA. I ask myself sometimes, is it only the NTA? Because sometimes I just say, let me go through and see what's good. Is it only the NTA that has the prerogative to showcase these reminders? There are many other stations and many other ways.
And private stations should also take it up as corporate social responsibility.
Okay.
Anyway,
back to your
I do want us to talk about...
He was about to analyze the fires.
The fires. Yeah. You see, in Ghana, it's the same trend around this time. Some people leave appliances on, they leave them improperly, either air conditioners or fridges to preserve things, and these fires occur when you have outbreak, light out and sudden light, restoration. So it's something that they need to look at because it happens in markets, in very important places around this time. So sabotage could be possible, especially for the long period of holiday and the markets are closed. It could be possible. But for me, more care should be done, especially the GNI fire. And you see that if you go to those markets, you see where generators are placed and the manner of refueling those generators while they are running. I witnessed one right at the computer village, right on top of the phone sellers. This man was they were telling him, there was immediate explosion. He burned down many stores instantly.
Wow.
Yes. Right in the...
While it was on, he was...
And they were telling him to stop. Even the people were cautioning him, but he was defiant.
Because he's always done it, it's never happened.
On that occasion, the explosion took place, and a lot of them lost. They were selling phone patches and all of them. So people are heady. People are unruly too. They don't obey simple things. They don't even know the reason why these instructions and regulations are placed there.
Okay.
Switch off your gen before you fuel it.
Then should the fire service be more proactive and go on rounds to markets, educating people? Like you look at Lagos Island,
the fire service
it's very
completely.
volatile.
Yes, because how could the fire service be around with all the inspections they do? And they will see such dangers, and those, except that they will tell them, and yet they will go back there after being warned. Because the fire service people will tell you, we visit everywhere, we warn them,
There
we
should
tell
be
them what to
penalties
do.
and enforcement.
They should be, but it costs so much to enforce.
Okay.
And when they are not well funded, what do? You just heard that the budget of last year, only 30% of it was released. Is that not worrisome? If a country has $1 billion to spend and only 300 million was released, what effect do you want all the agencies? This is absolute no effect. And you will be hearing government agencies that were funding, and it worried me when I heard that, okay, we surpassed our revenue, and then the budget.
And
so
then we have a deficit.
I was a bit confused.
We have a deficit of 30 trillion.
Honestly.
Yes.
Okay.
Olive.
Let us, there's a story on the front page of this Nigeria that is also on another paper. It says, New Year's Eve attack. Aiyedatiwa meets security agencies in Ondo. And then if you go to the Nigerian Tribune, you will see it at the top left corner of the Nigerian Tribune. Gunmen attack Ondo community, set police station ablaze. Now, reports have it that there were about 20 gunmen that attacked the Ipele Owo community in our local government area on Wednesday night. That's New Year's Eve. The attack occurred around 10 p.m. and they reportedly saw gunmen invade the community. They set a police station ablaze, forcing officers and residents to flee as the attackers fired sporadically, causing panic in the town. Eyewitness said the attackers, numbering around 20, stormed the community. They said it was a terrorist-like attack and that they came into the community in a commando style and began to shoot sporadically before attacking the police station in Ipele. And the governor had said that they haven't thoroughly done investigation to conclude that they're terrorists, but there has been pronouncements that have been made. There have been mobilization according to him. And he said only the police station was damaged, adding that the officers survived and rejoined their colleagues on patrol to prevent further criminal activity.
Okay, so the target was the police station.
Well, we don't quite know what it was. They started shooting in the community, then they went to the police station.
Okay.
Which will send a message, I believe.
First of all, how could they, drive or ride the motorbike commando style and no policeman on the way to stop them? If you are traveling on your own, just on your own, on a peaceful journey, you see so many checkpoints. How come within this town, some convoy. So there is something defective around it. And then meeting the people after the attack is part of just optics. You should have met your people to prepare and anticipate that during this period, especially with the gains that were recorded in the north, some of these things will shift southward, southwestward, as we have seen in the past. You know, so you saw what's happened in Kwara State. Because if there's pressure in some area, these people have a way of finding their way to another part where there's some safety or where alertness has been lowered, and they go there to strike. So we as a country must be smart to know that what we are dealing with here are a group of people that have set up an enterprise around criminality. And it is how they fund their daily living, because they have a community. Their revenues are from crime, and they will never relent because they have no other means of livelihood. This is a group of criminals that have held this country to ransom for this long. Where do they get their funding, if not for this enterprise of kidnapping, harassing people, creating fear and terror in society? So the governor of the state, all of the governors, should need to sit up now and be anticipatory instead of just reacting after the attacks have taken place.
Well,
we thank God there's no
casualties. So far, no casualties. I mean, it's not just there. There's also what's happening in... we will have our correspondent, Emmanuel Bagudu, join us shortly to give further information. But there's also still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, bottom left corner, terrorists kill 9 in Plateau community on New Year's Eve. So it feels like it was happening in different places at about the same, time, right? New Year's Eve.
This would have been worse if not for that attack by the U.S. There was a massive orchestration. From what we hear and what we have read, they were actually planning multiple attacks to create massive fear across the country. The trend was building up until that attack. So it said some warning. Gatherings and planning now have become difficult because there's heightened surveillance. But what we are seeing is in these places are remnants that are spread all over the place, causing fear and problems, in the country. We hope that the military...
And then it's hitting the southern coastal states. Ondo is now the frontline state, Kwara state, that in the past we thought, this problem was only confined to the northeast. It's now
stretching down to the north central, then to the southwest.
All right. To mention to our YouTube, our virtual audience, that we will now be taking comments from YouTube. Please feel free to drop a comment regarding any of the stories that we have discussed or are yet to discuss, but on the front pages of the newspapers, and I will take reports from these comments on YouTube or streaming live via News Central Live. Men to watch in 2026, still on front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu, Obi, Atiku continue battle of wits. I'm going to put you on the spot. Who are the politicians to watch in 2026?
Well, in 2026, I will...
If you did follow Fubara,
I think we should watch Wike Afubara.
You watch what?
Wike Afubara. Because somehow Tinubu just, have made the two of them, they are now fighting for who is his biggest supporter.
Yes.
It's no longer
the best friend of the president.
The battle is we are proving that we are bigger than you. But anyway, what's happening in Rivers State is that Wike is on the march to ensure that Fubara does not return. So that is the issue. For he knows that if Fubara gains momentum, that will affect him and affect his political foundation.
Especially for second term.
Constituency. So how to get Fubara out? That's why when Fubara gave out 100,000 naira, I felt that was not smart enough.
No, they said he applied to all civil servants.
No, that's what I'm saying. And you gave it to the speakers, the members of the House of Assembly as well, giving them the occasion to refund the money. So, you see, Fubara should engage more behind the scene. He should not dramatize anything he's doing. If you want to really win and be able to get a good foothold, he should go behind the scene and do proper
investigation.
Should he get rid of his live band?
What was that?
Governor Fubara. Because he has an accompaniment of
a live band.
Now, just like his predecessor.
Rivers State has introduced something into the Nigerian politics that's very interesting. And where you have these praise singers and live band right there to pick from the last word of the speaker. I find it very entertaining, but it's very pedestrian but quite entertaining.
Edo State has a hype man, by the way.
I also have that too.
No, they have a hype man. I think
Governor when they enter gutter.
But are we more concerned about the theatrics as regards Gov?
It seems so.
No, because you know the black man is easily excitable, and that is exactly why he's easily deceived.
So Wiki started his musical.
The black people are easily deceived. The white people knows that, and they have used that over the years.
I mean, if they ask those praise singers, what genre of music do you do? They will say, I do political high life.
Yes.
Let's have...
You can hire them as a politician.
Interesting. We have our correspondent joining us. There has been rumor, report circulating on social media that Islamic cleric Sheikh Gumi, his house was destroyed by US airstrikes in Kaduna. This morning we have our correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu, who has visited the house. He joins us live from Ugwan Sarki GRA, the Kaduna home residence of Sheikh Gumi. Good morning, Emmanuel. Talk to us about the situation at Sheikh Gumi's house.
Yes, Emmanuel Bagudu, you're live on Breakfast Central. Could you give us an update on what's happening at Sheikh Gumi's house?
Hello?
Okay, we'll try as much as possible to see if we can connect with Emmanuel Bagudu, who's there. We can hear him talking with the residents in the area, and there's no sign of any destruction of property or building. But we'll come back to that. Let's go straight to the papers again. Our in-house guest here. Maybe we should have a live band in the studio too. Whenever we have papers, and we drop it.
I'm just fascinated at the rumor mills and how rumors start. So somebody sits in their house, makes up fake news, and then puts it out there.
It says, you know why?
Emmanuel Bagudu.
You know why? Because when your videos go viral on Facebook, you earn money. So people can just, that's why every time my mom says, oh, I say, Mommy, was it from Facebook first of all? If it's from Facebook, go and double check. Because Facebook people, they're an interesting...
You take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, they're an interesting category.
They're so quick to share, reshare. And you guys should watch The Proof. The Proof is on News Central. It's a fact-checking show that continues to fact-check, teaches you how to fact-check stories, news, anything you hear.
Educates you.
Educates you on how you can do it. Emmanuel Bagudu, are you there? All right, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Good morning from Kaduna.
Good morning. Tell us what's the latest, what's happening? Any destruction of property?
Yes. I'm just by the home of the Sheikh. He's healthy and hearty. Everywhere here is safe. There is no any bomb blast around here, no any US strike. Contrary to the fake news that's happening. I'm standing right here at the Modibo Adama Street. Right by my right hand side is the home of Sheikh Gumi, and of course, nothing is happening at all. There was no any airstrike, either accidental or by the US. Everything here is safe, and everybody here is saying that they are shocked to hear that news that the home of the Sheikh is bombed. So it's something that Nigerians have to be very careful of, and even the people of Kaduna State are actually not happy to hear that kind of news, because they are saying that the people are taking advantage of this U.S. airstrike, to continue to send out fake news out there.
Okay. Usually, fake news starts from. One of the ways it starts is a group of persons or people.
They have filed a court case against those social media guys that actually posted. 2 Facebook users have been sued by the family of Sheikh Gumi, who are going to appear in court by Monday to actually give an account of that particular fake news that they have been sending out. Yeah.
Okay, so Emmanuel has confirmed that it came from Facebook, and 2 of them have been apprehended. Hopefully, they will show up in court on Monday. But can you tell us what the neighbors are saying? Are the neighbors also reacting to that story? What are they saying? Because earlier we heard you talking to either 1 or 2 of them.
They are very, very uncomfortable because they feel that they are being spotlighted unnecessarily. Some of them just came to us right now to talk to us, to make us understand that ever since that news went on air, they have not been finding things funny. They have been so scared. They have not been sleeping. They are scared that any moment from now they may hear a bomb blast around their buildings. This location, this Modibo Adama Street, adjacent it is the Kaduna State House of Assembly, talking about the popular Lugat House. And then we have the Gombe State Governor's Lodge also just around the Sheikh Gumi's house. So it's an issue of him being surrounded by very top, very strong government institutions. So the neighbors are not happy, but some of them are confident that for the fact that they're being surrounded by big big establishment like the Kaduna State House of Assembly, a lot of government lodge here, they feel they are safe. So, but what is in their mind is the fact that they are tensed, they feel bad about this fake news, and they feel uncomfortable, and they feel they are not being targeted. So, but they still feel that the Sheikh has already come out to tell them that there is no cause for alarm. These are just people that are just trying to take advantage of the situation and cause mayhem. He described the fake news as very scandalous and reckless. Those are his words. But the neighbors here say they are tensed, but with time they look forward to calming down. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for joining us and bringing that update. Just to quickly take comments from YouTube. Pius, thank you very much, Pius and Marco. He says, what you guys just did now concerning Sheikh Gumi is pure investigative journalism. Kudos. Thank you very much for the kind words. Olumide Alade says, when selfish interest drives governance, development suffers. Future generations will question and judge every actor involved. Every action against Fubara is unacceptable. Moki Chukwuemeka says, what's in Ipele that terrorists will attack the environment? My whole family from all corners of the earth were there on the weekend of the 20th December 2025. And yesterday I heard this story. I'm really so sorry. I'm sure that really hits home. Someone says, Pius also says, meanwhile, I really hope there will be governance this year because 2026 is close to 2027. Also, Senator of the Year goes to Senator Natasha. Despite all that happened, she stood tall. Do you agree?
Well, I don't agree.
Why?
I don't agree.
Is she part of the men to watch?
So who will be your own Senator of the Year?
Well, in my opinion, I do not have anyone to give such an award to. I have not considered it, but Natasha obviously is not one of those that I will give the award.
Would you give it to? I think I would rather give it to Senator Abaribe, and also what's his name? Senator representing
Siriaki Dixon.
Siriaki Dixon, yeah, and the popular senator, the white agbada, the cap. Name fills me now. Senator Ndume.
Oh, yes.
Always outspoken. I think I'll add him to that.
And the Nigerian Tribune forgot to put the name conspicuously missing in Men to Watch in 2026 because the things he says does have ripple effects on Nigeria's political scene. And I'm talking, he spurred them to action. They named Tinubu, they named Obi, they named Atiku, continuing battle of wits. But one name is conspicuously missing. Which name? And that name is the United States President, Donald Trump. Because when he tweets,
he is not a
comment. He's not a member. He does make things work in Nigeria.
Wow.
So he's part of those men to watch.
Wow.
Well, all I can say is as we wrap up the show now, because time is well spent, I want to thank each and every one of us, especially the entire team that has worked with us on Breakfast Central. Thank you so much. As we start the year, we look forward to do something amazing with you. And thanks to all who are watching us. Thanks for your comments, and thank you so much, Mr. Theophilus.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akatugwa, political affairs analyst / man of God.
/ upcoming clergyman. Actually, he said he's a clergyman. I don't know if he is. Thank you for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
You need to find out if it's New Testament or Old Testament.
All of them are the same thing. See you guys next week.
Next week.
Bye-bye.